What's up, everybody, and welcome to GameFace, episode 443 on Sifted Games at sifted.net. I'm Shane Satterfield, your humble host for the next couple hours of awesome game discussion, and alongside me to do that, my Wonder Twin. Together, we combine for over 50 years of experience covering the video game industry professionally, and of course, that is Matt Keil. How you doing, Matt?
All right.
How's your week been?
Rough week for the 80s.
It has been. Yeah, we lost one of the actors from the Cosby Show yesterday.
Malcolm Jamal Warner.
Yep, who drowned.
Yeah, certainly my favorite character on that show back in the day.
I think most people would agree with that.
Just
most people probably would have said Bill Cosby until...
No, you know me and my authority problems. I was never a fan of the father figure. I mean, I loved Bill Cosby growing up, and now of course, now of course you're like, we lose Malcolm Jamal Warner at 54, and this fucker's still alive. All right, great.
That's true, actually. Bill Cosby was like the celebrity of my school, Temple. So
right.
In my graduation, he spoke at the commencement speech, and you'd see him around campus every once in a while. He was at every basketball game and every football game, and it used to be something I was very proud of, and not anymore.
You remember Mike Leffler on X-Play used to do this stupid Bill Cosby impression.
Oh, that's right.
On the reviews all the time. It was just him doing the nonsense words he did. It was like, and my favorite of all time, which I don't know if we do it today.
Yeah.
But it was like him doing like reviews of different game or commentary on different games, and then one of them was Street Fighter 4, and for Balrog was in the fight, and he just said Balrog needs to take responsibility for his community, because that was the time when he was like blaming black youth for all the crime. He was like basically saying that
I forgot about that.
All that before. Yeah. The controversy he'd probably prefer to have right now. But yeah, so that they threw that joke in there, and I was like, oh my, I'm like, I don't know if we can say that. This is the whitest fucking show team I think I've ever seen in the industry, but like, okay.
I always remember him saying pudding. He was like the spokesman for Pudding Pops, Jello Pudding Pops, which I don't think even exist anymore.
No, they do.
Do they?
They do. I don't know if the Pudding Pop. I mean, obviously, Jello pudding still exists.
Right.
I don't know if the Pudding Pops exist. Actually,
Yeah, they were like popsicles that were just shaped. They were just pudding shaped.
Frozen pudding.
It was pretty good, actually.
The main memory I had of him as a very young kid, other than the albums my dad had, was picture pages.
Yeah, picture pages.
And the sound the marker made. That was my favorite thing.
Time to get your picture pages.
Yeah.
Those songs are just burned into my brain.
I didn't mean to turn this into the nostalgia for the Sex Pest terror.
Well, let's just shift on to the other death that we just found out on my way over here. Ozzy Osbourne has died. Mm-hmm. He literally just did the final concert with Black Sabbath in England 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, the big basically every metal band in existence got to
every big metal band was there.
So everybody got to say goodbye to Ozzy.
And they did. There was this crazy green room where they had set him up with like this throne.
Which it seems like I think he just got in the throne, they flew him there and airlifted him back or something.
Because in the concert, he never got out of the chair. He sat the whole time, which was a bad sign. The worst sign, though, was watching the green room footage of all the other rock stars interacting with him and watching him try to understand conversation and what people were. You could tell there was something bad going on. His performance also wasn't great.
The man at that point was just running on residual drug.
Well, he got Parkinson's later in life, and he was a heavy drug user in the 70s and 80s and maybe the 90s. I'll be honest,
I thought he was older than 76.
Really? Yeah, I'm surprised he lived to be 76 after his life.
So was he. He said that all the time. He's like, I can't believe I'm still here. But no, I thought he was in his 80s.
No, he wasn't quite that old. I was telling Matt before we started recording today, back when I was in middle school, I can't remember when it was, there was kids in my school carving Ozzy's name into their arm.
We had kids that did that too.
And it was a thing in our school, so much so that they went on the loudspeaker and the principal was like, hey, I need blah, blah, blah to come to my office right now. And it was all the people that had carved Ozzy into their arm.
Yep. I very specifically remember I was friends with one of them.
Oh, really?
And I remember at one point he came back from recess or whatever, and he's like, "Check it out, dude."
And
and it was straight line. It was like, so the O looked like a
box,
like a diamond, basically, and because it was all straight,
right?
Z-Z-Y.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of arguments. They had arguments about whether the Y should be like 2 lines or 3 lines. And I remember one guy. adamant it should be 2 lines, because if you did it 3 lines, it would only take a circle to make it a peace symbol.
Okay.
And then one other guy was like, there's another line that
that's also upside down.
Yeah, but he's like, it only takes a circle to make it a Mercedes symbol. And they were funny people.
Yeah.
I enjoyed the metalheads in middle school. But,
we were friends with them because we would go to shows and they'd come to some of them. So like we went to like punk and hardcore shows, but we would go see Metallica and like some of the speed metal bands.
Those are the guys who gave me one of them gave me a bootleg of Appetite for Destruction like 3 months before it came out.
Oh wow!
And he's like, take this home and listen to it tonight.
Change your life.
I'm like, well, just take it home and listen to it. He was the most serious I ever saw him. Was like, you need to take Appetite for this album home and listen to it right now. I'm like, okay. And he was right. He was right.
While I was sitting here waiting for the show to start, I started like looking around on social media about the whole Ozzy thing, and I kept seeing these like messages for like rest in peace. He's in a better place now. And I'm like, if you believe in the afterlife and you believe in religion or whatever, you don't believe that Ozzy's in a better place right now. He was the Prince of Darkness.
Yeah, it was just a role.
According to just a role. Yeah. They don't think that, though. Ozzy was like public enemy number 1 in the 70s and 80s for religious people.
Well, yeah, the crazy mothers who thought D&D was a portal to the Satan dimension.
Sure. I mean, there's a lot of people like that.
Right, but I don't think those are the people wishing him well after his death.
I just found it ironic. He's the Prince of Darkness, and people are like, he's gone on to a better place, and it's like, nah.
Well, if he's the prince of the place, it probably is pretty good for him.
That's a good point. He's royalty there, right?
Yeah, right. There you go.
I just admit,
it's in his
like,
natural habitat.
Yeah. I love Black Sabbath. I still like Black Sabbath, but I never cared for Ozzy's music. Like, once he became a solo artist, it was just too glam rock for me.
It was very glam rock. I mean, I like
Crazy
like
Train.
I like Crazy Train.
There's a couple Ozzy songs that are good.
But I like a lot of those songs because, like, when he went solo, it was kind of like this thing. It's like, oh, it's Ozzy. Yeah, it's like, even then, it was like, oh, it's Ozzy. It's like he's trying.
Well, what happened is he had his reality show, and that's what changed everyone's perception. He went from being like a devil worshiper to like, he's not half bad in like 2 seasons or whatever. The people figured out that he was a human being, and he wasn't just some dude who was biting the heads off of bats or whatever.
Yeah,
so
well, he never really did that.
He actually did do that. That is true.
That's a myth.
No, it's not. He admits to it. It's true. It is 100% true. 1,000%.
He has gone back and forth on whether
No. It is true. There are pictures of him doing it. He did it for sure. Like he tried. Like there was a period where he was ashamed of it and tried to act like it didn't happen. Then as he got older, he didn't care anymore. He's like, yeah, I did it. Like there's tons of people that saw him do it. Like it's literally true. He actually bit the head off a bat.
Yeah, I don't believe that.
It's true. You can believe it or not. But I
dug into that a long time ago, and unless some very new information came out, you can't actually really do that.
Get on a chat, search right now, figure out if Ozzy biting the head off a bat was real or not. Yeah, right there, Ozzy did tell the story of him doing it and regretting it. I'm telling you, it's true. Believe it or not, sadly, it is a true story. But like, I never really liked Ozzy's music, his solo music. Like, but his guitar player Randy Rhoads was freaking amazing. Like, I never got into metal and like hard rock or glam rock or whatever, but I did have a respect for the artists for sure. Like some of the guitar players in those bands are really talented, and Randy Rhoads was one of the best ever. And he also died young, kind of like Cliff Burton from Metallica. They're an amazing bass player. He died really young in a plane crash. It is kind of crazy how some of the best guitarists throughout rock history have not lived that long. Jimi Hendrix didn't live that long.
Stevie Ray Vaughan.
Yeah. So I will say it. Rest in peace, Ozzy. I'm not a big fan of his music, but I love Black Sabbath. I still listen to Black Sabbath.
As Bill Hicks said, Stevie Ray Vaughan is dead, but we can't get Bon Jovi on a helicopter.
Right. So anyway, what else we got here? Oh, so I don't know if you guys remember or not, but in last week's episode, I promised you that I was going to deliver an emoji for the Duh Consulting Agency. And I don't know if any of you guys have noticed, but I delivered the emoji for the Duh Consulting Agency. I got a logo worked up for it. I may even make like t-shirts or stickers, Matt, for the Duh Consulting Agency. I don't know if you guys have access to it, because I think it was like certain levels or something that you had to be at. But I uploaded it to both Twitch and YouTube. So you guys should have access. There it is. Justin Horman just posted it. I'm going to go to our chat real quick here so you guys can see it. And there it is. Justin Horman just posted he was the first one to show the new emoji for the Duh Consulting Agency. And anyway, that is uploaded for both YouTube and for Twitch. And you can see the logo is a dude going, duh. I think it came out pretty good. But anyway, I am thinking about doing t-shirts or something for the Duck Consulting Agency. If you guys are interested, let me know in the comments. That is kind of all the stuff I have for housekeeping. So we've gone to chat, which is great. Tyler, thank you for the $10 donation on YouTube. Curtis O'Neill, thank you for $14 Canadian. That is freaking awesome. Tech 89 or 489 reminds us about Malcolm Jamal Warner, which is a sad story. Did Ian just post the... Yep, there it is. There's the Duck Consulting Agency. There it is. It's pretty awesome. So anyway, they're up there. Like I told you guys, when I promise you something, I do it. Like, it may take me a while to get around to it, but I will do it. And I just delivered the Duck Consulting Agency emoji. Let's scroll up here for our chat on Twitch and see what's up with Twitch Prime and all that kind of stuff. JM Rain dropping the tier 1 subs. That's awesome. Someone just said metalheads are the nicest dudes. They really are. They get like the worst rap, but if you get to know them, they are literally some of the kindest, like nicest people you'll ever meet. Let's see here. Here's the beginning for today. Who we got in here? Too Quick Capri, thank you. David5807, many thanks. Who else? We're getting towards the middle of the month, so there's not as many people talking about Ozzy. Tiny2K, thank you. Sleeping Turtle 3, thanks. Eric Cartman is Temple football. Yeah, joke. Temple football. In Temple football games that I went to school at Temple, there was literally like 2,000 people at the game. They played in the Eagles Stadium, this gigantic stadium for NFL football. There would be 2 rows filled the whole way around the stadium. It's embarrassing.
St. Mary's was like that too, because I guess they'd been somewhat notable for a while, like years before we were there, but they hadn't admitted that it was over yet. And like, with my freshman or sophomore year, they got moved down a division, so they couldn't play their rival Santa Clara University anymore. And like the football team didn't know what to do anymore. They didn't. So the basketball team tried to start a rivalry with Santa Clara, and Santa Clara was like, no,
that's not happening.
You? Okay, yeah. It was very funny.
Temple football, when I went to school at Temple, they were 1-11, 2-10, 9-3. They were literally one of the worst college football teams in the entire country.
Well, and the more annoying thing about St. Mary's was it was a school where people who went to De La Salle ended up if they didn't really get into one of the big football schools. Yeah. So you had a lot of big fish, like small pond problems, where like a lot of these people didn't really realize they were probably not going to be NFL players. You know?
They're all delusional.
But they went to De La Salle, so it's like, everyone
just assumed, because that's the biggest high school for it's a pipeline for the NFL, 100%.
Basically. They were undefeated for like 30 years or some crazy thing like that. Yeah.
It's insane.
The biggest fight I ever saw at that college was the first week we were there freshman year, when everybody was drunk, and someone, I don't remember who it was, but he said in front of some De La Salle guys that De La Salle recruited.
Which they do.
Which, of course, they do. But apparently the De La Salle people don't believe that. And they beat the shit out of it because of it.
That sucks.
And you could hear them yelling down in the like, this was up on the hills where the dorms were. You could hear them from the quad at the bottom of the hill, because they were screaming about how De La Salle doesn't recruit so much. I still remember that 30 years later.
LeBeau over on YouTube, you have to make YouTube part of Name That Game. We can't. There's just no way to do it. There's no way. We have to choose one or the other. We can't have two, because the response times for each is different, and we have to lead with YouTube. And you can see, we just have a much bigger audience on Twitch. So until our YouTube crew starts showing up for our live show in the numbers that we're getting on Twitch, we're going to have to play Name That Game with Twitch. That's just the truth. JM Rain, thank you for those tier 1 subs, man. That's awesome.
We'll need a different...
Swan Senpai says Ozzy was very religious. Emperor Dread, thank you for Twitch Prime. Got anybody else here? Hype Chest. Let's open it up and see what's going on here. The Shy Ghost emote. Well, we'll just add it to the pile. Nowhere near as good as the Duck Consulting Agency emote, though. Any other Twitch Prime? God of Gamblers 33, thank you. Anything else we got here? Thoughtless Kyle, thank you for Twitch Prime. Fire Native, thank you for subscribing. That's incredible. And I think that's it. That's right. Choo choo. Thanks, JM Rain. That's happening because of you, brother, because you gave us those subs. We appreciate it. Okay. We're just about ready to kick things off right here on GameFace 443. A couple things before we get going. We have an awesome show for you guys today. We are going to review Donkey Kong Bananza for Switch 2, the first real gigantic single-player exclusive for Switch 2 from Nintendo. We're going to talk about video game content today. We have had a couple stories happen this week where kind of the control over content is being taken away from the artists who create games. We're going to discuss that. Again, there's two things that happened this week that kind of influence that topic for today. And then finally, we're going to preview or go over all the big announcements from today's Pokemon Presents. There's a lot. Like, that thing was like 24 minutes long, and there's like 10 announcements or something crazy. So anyway, we're going over all that stuff, although I do think a lot of Pokemon fans were probably pretty bummed today because I think they expected one thing and didn't get it. But we'll talk about that later on as well. We got a big show for you guys, and we're about to get started. But before that, here's a word from our sponsor, LS Cream.
LS Cream is a fine cream liqueur created by fellow gamer and sifter Stevens Charles. It's inspired by an ancestral recipe from Haiti called Crémasse, and a double gold winner for its original taste at the New York Wine and Spirit International Competition. LS Cream can be enjoyed on the rocks or as a mixer for drinks with its rich blend of fresh cream and neutral grain spirits with notes of coconut, vanilla, cinnamon, and nutmeg. It's great in coffee or to make espresso martinis. To learn more, discover amazing drink recipes, or to track down your own bottle using a handy store locator, head to creamls.com/sifted. That's creamls.com/sifted.
That's right, people. Go to creamls.com/sifted. That's SIFTD. For those of you who are listening to the show and not watching the show on YouTube or on Twitch right now. Head on over there. No matter where you live, the site will help you out. If you already have LS Cream, it will help you make some of the most awesome drinks you have ever made. Drinks that you will never guess are even alcoholic. If you have people in your family or friends who are like, I don't like alcohol, I can only drink drinks where I can't taste it, LS Cream is a godsend. You can mix stuff up with LS Cream, and they will have no idea there's even any liquor in there. Of course, if you want to make a stiffer drink, you want to add a little bit of vodka or something else in the drink, I won't judge. Go ahead and do that. But LS Cream is a great liqueur for anyone, whether you're a big-time drinker who likes to drink several times a week, whether someone just likes to have a sip with friends and family once every few months. LS Cream is great for all of that. Go to creamls.com/sifted. All right, first up in today's show, we are going to discuss Donkey Kong Bananza, the first big, I would argue the first real big exclusive for Switch 2. Obviously, Mario Kart World launched with the console, but I played that for, I don't know, a few days and kind of got done with it. This game I have been playing a lot ever since I got it. In fact, I will fully admit that I am completely and hopelessly addicted to Donkey Kong Bananza. Matt, how much have you played it? Did you play it at all?
3 hours.
Really?
I find this game so boring.
Wow.
Like, I'm super impressed by the tech and the personality and the animation and all the, like, the production value is maybe the best Nintendo's ever done.
It is. It's by far the best. There's nothing even close to it.
Like, it's just,
I mean, look at
it. It's very right, but even like just the integration of voice acting and the character animation and the cuts, like it's pretty next level stuff for them. Like,
I mean, it is the next level for them.
Yeah, like this. I mean, I'm not slagging Mario Kart or anything, but like when you say first real Switch 2 exclusive, even though we know it was moved from the Switch 1, like this feels like this is a new system in a way that Mario Kart kind of did.
Agreed. Yeah, the step from Super Mario Odyssey is way bigger than the step from Mario Kart 8 to Mario Kart World. Yeah, without a doubt. Graphically.
100%.
Graphically. I guess we'll start with the story in this, because I want to try to keep things pretty organized. And that's the first thing I would say is, Matt, we're about to talk about the story in a Donkey Kong game.
Yeah,
weird. Which is crazy to even think about. Normally when we talk about Nintendo's games like this, we talk about the story, it lasts like a minute. Yeah. Because there's like a setup, and then there's no story.
It's an elevator pitch,
usually.
It's just like, oh, Bowser did thing.
Yeah.
And like we gotta stop it.
Yeah. Bowser stole Princess Peach. Get her back.
It's crazy that like the first time Nintendo really like tripled down on a narrative in one of these games, it was Donkey Kong.
Right.
And not like Mario.
Yeah. Well, the first thing I'm going to say about the story in this, it's not top notch.
No, it's like Luigi's Mansion.
It's there.
Story.
And it actually, I mean, I would say
it's more important to what you're doing than average.
Yeah.
In a Nintendo platformer.
Now remember, right last week we just found out that a Donkey Kong movie is on the way, and we talked about it. I'm like, how the hell are you going to make a movie about frickin' Donkey Kong? He doesn't even talk. All he does is grunt and like laugh and whistle.
Well, he talked in the movie.
Right. After playing this, I totally understand where a Donkey Kong movie is coming from now. Like, I totally get it.
I'll bet you something. The Donkey Kong movie will have absolutely no relation to this.
You don't think it'll have,
No.
she won't be in it?
Oh, she'll probably be in it. But like...
I mean, that's what I meant.
Pauline, yeah.
Yeah.
But like in terms of like him running through a weird inside-out hollow earth trying to find gold, I don't
No.
think so.
I think it's just going to explore the relationship between him and Pauline. Because that's what happens in this game. So, when it first starts, I would argue both from a perspective of the game's plot and the gameplay, it starts slow. Like, I can understand where maybe you play the first couple hours, you're like, I'm not really getting this. Because I played the first, 2 hours, and I was like, this is good, but not as good as I expected. And then, both the game just skyrockets. And then the story is like a slow burn over the course of the game. By the time I got to the end of this, I absolutely cared about Donkey Kong. I absolutely cared about Pauline. I am ready to watch a Donkey Kong movie. It could be terrible, but I'm ready to actually watch it. Whereas last week I'd have been like, I'm not even watching the Donkey Kong movie. So this game did a pretty good job of kind of ingratiating you to the characters and making you care about Donkey Kong and Pauline, but most importantly, caring about the relationship between the two of them. And basically how it starts is Donkey Kong is Donkey Kong. They're at Ingot Isle. This group called the Void Company that are like this mining operation starts mining down to the core of the planet. And it sends Donkey Kong down into the depths of the planet. He lands down there. He finds this rock, this sentient rock that he befriends him. And eventually you find out that it's Pauline who's actually trapped inside the rock. And so Pauline joins up with Donkey Kong. They both want to get to the center of the planet. Donkey Kong just wants more bananas. Pauline wants to go back. So as you play the game, you start to understand what's happened between her and the Void Company. They had kidnapped her, and she had been held hostage by them, and she had escaped. And I don't know if she hid herself in the rock so they couldn't find her, but regardless...
She said that they turned her into it.
They had turned her into it.
Yeah.
So Donkey Kong finds her, he basically rescues her, and she joins forces with him, but throughout the course of the game, you keep coming into contact with the Void Company, and they start filling you in on the details of what happened before Donkey Kong met her. And it becomes a pretty interesting tale, and to your point, Matt, to me, this is the way Nintendo's games are going to be from now on. There is tons of voice acting in this, and it helps. The facial animation, I wouldn't say it's Disney animation quality, but it's pretty darn good for real-time animation with real-time characters.
They've clearly taken some cues from the Illuminations movie and decided that this is what these characters should look like now. Mm-hmm. Especially since he's using literally the character model design from the movie Donkey Kong.
And I think if you're wondering what's going to be in the next Mario game, just go watch the Mario Brothers movie.
Yeah.
That's because they're creating the synergy between their games and their pop culture.
Which is pretty much what I thought. I mean, when I was like, well, people are going to expect it to look like that now. Mm-hmm. And here we are.
Yep. And so that's the basic plot of the game. And basically you're just going down. The one thing that's unique about this game is the way it's designed is it's a planet, and you just keep going deeper and deeper into the core of the planet. But the weird thing is that even though you're inside a planet, there's a sky and there's weather and
don't think about it too hard.
That's my
Jules Verne didn't.
Exactly. My final statement on the story of this game is don't think about it too hard, because the more you do, there is just holes everywhere in this game, plot holes, just ridiculous things happening. If you think about it, you'd be like, this is crap. But again, to me, the crux of this game's story, if you want to call it that, is the relationship between Donkey Kong and Pauline, and how at first she's scared of him because he's the brute, and then over time it's there are these little segues in the game where you go to this place called your getaway, and it's basically this little place where you can sleep to refill your health and buy stuff from all the shops and things like that. When you heal at the getaway, they sleep, and Donkey Kong will sleep on his back, and then Pauline will sleep draped over top of him snoring. It is the cutest thing you've ever seen. And then every time you go to a getaway, there's a handful of different animations that they do for the sleeping bit. And all of them are adorable. And again, that helps build sort of the rapport between Donkey Kong and Pauline that the player ultimately feels throughout the course of the game. The getaway, the hideaway, is an important part of the game. Not only does it help you heal and buy stuff from the store and buy new clothes and things like that, as you venture around each level, you come across these places where you can build your getaway. And you have to spend gold to build the getaway. Every getaway that you build up until like the 4th or 5th getaway gives you an extra heart on your total health meter. So by the time you're at the end of the level, you're almost finishing a level and you're about to fight the boss, you'll have your base health meter plus an extra 5 or 6 hearts. And you can lose those and go back to your base health, but you can go right back to the getaway and sleep and refill them again. And that's kind of how the getaway kind of becomes this really important hub that kind of affects every part of the game. It is a Donkey Kong game. It's not as bad as Donkey Kong 64, but there is a lot of stuff to collect. The first thing I like about this, Matt, and I don't even know if you got to this because you didn't play it too much, but all the bosses in this, like the main bosses, not the mini bosses, are like DJs. It's really weird. Like I don't know if it's like the whole DK rap thing has permeated the entire game.
I think that's where it comes from. Yeah,
it's interesting.
I mean, I didn't get to that. I obviously I saw the thing where you get the record for the giant ape.
So you got the first transformation then?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's what I'm talking about. So there's 5 transformations in the game, and those are different forms that Donkey Kong can transform into. And the gatekeepers of those transformations are these big boss characters. You don't actually fight them. They're actually your allies or whatever. But they're these gigantic characters, and you have to go find records to put on a turntable, and you bring the record back to them. You scratch the turntable, and then the boss man will give you that new transformation. And so there are 5. I'm not going to spoil all 5 transformations. There's 3 that they've talked about already. There's one where you just turn into like a more powerful Donkey Kong. That's the first one that you got. There's a zebra that can run on ice, whereas Donkey Kong can't.
It's basically the way they get around not having the animal mounts from Country.
Yep. And then there's an ostrich as well that can fly and drop bombs while it's flying. I'll just be honest with you. Other than the first transformation, the others feel pretty frivolous. They're only used in like very specific cases. Like the zebra, for example, his only advantage is he can run fast and he can run across ice pathways. And that's it. So, honestly, you're looking at the skill tree right now. I'm going to pause it so I can just kind of talk about it very quickly. So you get a skill tree for DK. That's the 3 on the left. And then you get 1 for each of your transformations. And obviously you can see that they're smaller. Like you get 3 or 4 for each of your transformations. And then Donkey Kong has 9, 13 different ones. Not only are these the skills that you can select, but you can also upgrade them. So if you look at the circle around each one, it's segmented. That shows you how many times you can upgrade each one of those. So like your health, which is the top left, you can upgrade 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 different times. Some of the other like big ones, like the ones, like the top ones for each transformation, you can only upgrade those 2. But it does give you like some leeway in how you want to play the game. But I'm just telling you, as someone who has sunk like 40 some hours into this game, that just concentrate on Donkey Kong. Put all your stuff in Donkey Kong and his first transformation. The other transformations you're not going to use very often, and I would argue that it is probably the biggest failure of the game. That there's this whole system built around these transformations, but when you actually get the transformations, you find that you can't really use them for all that much. So that was one of my disappointments with this game, is that the transformations to me are kind of frivolous and don't mean much. There is a really awesome map in this game, and it helps a ton with just like cutting down on the backtracking time, the searching time, and all that. The map in this is like a 3D, almost like Metroid, but it's not wireframe. Well, actually, perfect time. You can see it right here. And it will show you like bananas you haven't collected on the level yet. It will show you, like, for example, on the levels where you need to find the records for the big boss man.
See, I didn't like this map.
Oh, really?
All. I think it's incredibly confusing and very hard to like one-to-one with where you are in the world versus where you, like, I know generally what direction, but like there's no other indicator, and like I was just like, I guess I'll just dig down until I find the fucking fossil that I know is here somewhere. Like I did not like this map in the same way that I don't like the map in Metroid Prime very much.
I don't either, I'll be honest with you.
Like this it's not a useful, I mean, it's a useful tool and it's better than nothing, but that's about all I'll give it. And it's an impressive graphical trick where you pull all the way out and with seamlessly.
You just didn't learn how to use it, Matt. So if you look in the top
right
right
I don't
there,
care to learn how to use it because this game blows. So
What?
I really don't know why I hate this game so much.
I don't know either, Matt.
It's just not fun at all.
I mean, look, I want to keep my declarative statements till the end, but your verbiage is kind of prodding me to say it. Like, this is like maybe the best 3D platformer I've ever played.
Not even top 50 for me. Like
Come on, man.
I just don't like it. It's smashing stuff is not an interesting gameplay thing for me if that's all you're doing.
This game is way better than Super Mario Odyssey. It literally mops the floor with Super Mario.
I'm not going to sit here and defend Super Mario Odyssey.
Look, I don't think it's a 10 out of 10 either. But most people do, and this game is way better than Super Mario Odyssey.
I'm not even going to maybe even argue that it isn't better than Super Mario Odyssey, because I didn't like Super Mario Odyssey very much.
I mean, I liked it. I wasn't over the moon with it like a lot of people. Like, for example, I basically finished Super Mario Odyssey when I got to like 210 moons or something like that. I'm already over 300 bananas in this.
Well, what I will say for this one is that it does not have the Super Mario Odyssey problem of like earning the main MacGuffin, which was moons in that and bananas in this. Every time you get a banana in this, it feels like you did something of note.
That's actually not true, Matt. That is one of my other big complaints about this is that it's just like Super Mario Odyssey in that way. It cheapens.
It's too much.
There's too many. And
so far, I haven't
easy.
felt that. Although at the very least, I mean, my metric on that is when I got the same moon from doing a complicated platforming section as I did from butt stomping a little mound of sand on the beach.
Yep. And it's like this game is like that too. So if you start doing like the hand slap and using the scanning in it, you find so many free bananas are just buried under a mound of dirt. So it gets very cheap. Again, like Super Mario Odyssey.
I guess that's just how they think it should be now.
I think it's them adjusting their game design for younger people, honestly, in the market for today.
I thought younger people don't play video games anymore.
I think they just want the constant feedback of like, I accomplished something. Like,
you're basically they're leaning harder into the Skinner box idea.
Yeah, but for me, like, I don't get the sense of accomplishment from getting those easy bananas, and to me, it does cheapen the feeling that you get. Now, I'll say this:
maybe it's better in my sense that when you get a banana, it gets you closer to a skill point. And in Mario Odyssey, it feels like it's just for nothing.
That's the other thing. So you collect bananas in this. Every 5 bananas, you get a skill point, and the skills make a difference.
Maybe that helps. Maybe
it does
that's
help.
The difference.
That is a difference that does make it better than Super Mario Odyssey for sure. But I still feel like a lot of the bananas in this, I don't get a sense of anything when I collect them, and that never used to be the case with Mario games. And I get this is a Donkey Kong game.
It wasn't before Odyssey. Before Odyssey, I did not have a. It would never have occurred to me even say that.
Right.
Even in a game like Super Mario Sunshine, which for me would probably be the worst mainline Mario game for me, or at least the one I like the least.
Yeah.
I never felt like getting a shine was a trivial thing.
You felt like you did something and you earned it. In this, you don't. In Super Mario Odyssey, you don't either. That is one thing about this game that is very similar. And here's also the thing about this game, is it is Nintendo game. It borrows stuff from every big Nintendo franchise. Let me clarify. Every big Nintendo 3D platformer and Zelda. So there's Super Mario Sunshine stuff in this too, where you're like clearing away the gook. Like eventually, like there's some really cool puzzles where you're like using ice to clear away lava, and it's just the Super Mario Sunshine tech. And you just see little bits and pieces of that. The other thing I like about this game is it uses, like, again, Nintendo adjusting its game design to appeal to younger players, like with Zelda, with the building stuff. I hate that, because it's like this goofy interface you have to go into, this, like, awkward, and, like, then you put the contraption together, it doesn't work the way you thought, you have to do it all over again. In this, there is building, but it's, like, real-time on the fly, where you use it to, like, solve puzzles, and in some cases, get some bananas in some pretty clever ways. But it allows you to do things in multiple ways, much like the recent Zelda games do. So there was one section where, and I don't know if you got to this mission type, but it is repeated a few times throughout the game, where you get to this like piece of ice or whatever, and he's like, "Hey, my buddies are lost. Go find my buddies." And you have to return these little chips of blue to the big chip, basically. And most of them are easy. Like, you just got to find them. That's the hard part. But there's one where they're perched on...
stealing Breath of the Wild left and right, even from
Seriously,
themselves.
Like I'm saying, like this game takes inspiration from everything.
Yeah, even the hills look like... I definitely thought Breath of the Wild when you first landed in
the climbing, but there's no stamina. So they actually improved that over Zelda.
Well, they balanced that by having it be squirrely as all fuck.
I also had a case where the controls change. Like, it doesn't know if you want to go right or left when you're climbing on a wall sometimes.
I've had that happen,
Yeah.
I am stunned by some of the camera issues in this game when you're climbing.
The bigger issue for me with the camera is when you go underground. So when
underground is a problem, and climbing on the hanging from the raptor thing.
Yeah.
I can the angle it wants you to do that at. I'm like, I can't see.
Sometimes
I can't see what you want me to avoid.
I want to go back to the map though, Matt, because the map in this is actually really good. So if you tap like R1 or L1, it'll cycle through like all the important stuff, and it'll just take you right there. It'll show you exactly where it is. You don't have to look through a menu and try to line up the menu with the icon. You just tap left and right, or I think you can use a D-pad left or right as well.
It's the bumpers.
Yeah, and it'll just cycle you through all the important stuff. So if you're missing a banana, it will show you exactly where that banana is. If you're missing a fossil, it'll show you exactly where that fossil is.
As long as you found the map.
Right, but if you're digging around, you find the maps to almost everything. Like, if you dig around even a little bit, because look, I'll say when I first started playing this, I did a lot of digging, because you're trying to figure out, like, how far can I go with this? What can I do? And I think the camera for that can be bad at times, but I also don't know how Nintendo could have done it differently. Like, it's really hard.
I think one of the big things they could have done differently is exactly what you said just a minute ago, is, like, don't change the orientation of how the camera moves based on the orientation of where Donkey Kong is.
Yep.
Because sometimes they decide, because you've crossed some 180 somewhere, now up is this and down, or left is this, or and that screwed me up a number of times.
But here's the thing.
Because you can't really see him at that point. You're kind of in that weird, if you're digging, you're kind of in that thing where everything goes semi-transparent, because otherwise you can't see what you're doing.
It's actually pretty genius how they handled the digging underground. I don't know how they could have done it any better.
I mean, I don't know how they could have. One of the ways I would have done it better is by not doing it at all. But
it's so much fun.
I don't find it
Most people
fun.
do, Matt.
Okay.
Most people find it a whole lot of fun.
Most people voted a certain way, so I don't really care what most people do.
Well, I don't think all those people care about video games the same. Like,
no, but like I mean, again, if the digging and crashing and smashing was like part of it,
here's another great
and
example.
Wasn't the main point, like I would be more interested. But
it's not the main point. Like, so what I was gonna say is, like, the first few hours I did it a ton to figure out what the limitations were. And then I hardly ever did it again. Like, you don't have to do it at all.
But what I mean is, like, everything is some variation on smashing stuff, because he's Donkey Kong. And it's just not... none of this has been particularly... It's just chaos to me. And, like, I understand why that's fun to some degree, but that's not really what I like about 3D platformers. Like...
What do you like?
I like being given... Basically, I like being given a giant obstacle course world and having to navigate it. And... being able to just like burn through shit.
This game does that, though.
It doesn't in a way that I find interesting or entertaining. Like, I don't know another way to tell you. And it also did the thing exactly what I was expecting it to do, where you can smash through stuff all the time as well you want, and then it's like, go get this thing over here. That's your next thing you have to do to progress the main story. And you get to the thing, and you can't smash through it because it's made of metal or whatever. And it's like, okay, now I got to do some weird thing. And of course, it turned out I didn't have to do some fancy platforming. I just had to go to the other thing and raise the water level. And like... and just cross a bridge. So I was like trying to figure out, like, okay, how do I get over here? He can't jump that high. Maybe I can use the rope. And I was trying to like figure out a platforming solution, and the solution is always just to go to the next thing, smash a thing, and then it'll open the route to it.
So I want to show you this.
It's just not particularly of interest to me.
It's so versatile, Matt. You can play this game however you want. You can play it in any order you want. You can do whatever you want. So the grab and throw and board mechanics. So you pick up a piece of earth. You can use it to just clear shit. You can just you can fight enemies with it if you want to. You can jump on it and surf it across different objects. Like if there's lava or whatever, you can surf until your object like dies. It's just like every mechanic that they give you in this, it provides a different tool that you can use to try to accomplish an objective in a completely different way. So going back to what I was saying about the blue chips that I had to collect in that one level. So the chips I had to find were all sitting on the same platform. Usually they're scattered around hidden somewhere. And the reason they were is because the platform was in the middle of water, and they can't go in the water or they die. So I figured out that there's two ways I can solve this. I can either use the building mechanics by picking up pieces of dirt and throwing them. I was able to build a bridge from the platform that they were on over to the big blue chip that they needed to go to. You can do it that way. Or you can just go behind them and start digging behind them and dig a pathway through the dirt all the way over to that other platform where the guy is. So I found two different ways to accomplish that objective. The whole game is like that.
Right, but both of those ways you just described are incredibly uninteresting to me. In the same way that I was left a little cold by Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like, you aren't setting up a puzzle for me to solve. You are presenting a place and I can like
They're allowing you to be creative.
I can basically damage it or like cheat my way over it in however way I choose, but it is not the same as solving an issue. Like it's the build a giant long board and tilt it over to make a ramp onto the top pillar where the Zelda treasure is. Like that is not a satisfying solution to me.
Look, I don't think that's satisfying because you have to in Zelda you have to sit there and fiddle around with the weird interface.
I'm not,
in this, you just snatch the piece of dirt and just throw it.
But see, the interface isn't the problem for me in Zelda. The problem is that you haven't I haven't done anything of interest. It's just you just kind of brute force your way through in a weird way, and that is also what you're doing here. You have choices of how to brute force your way through, and it is more in character for Donkey Kong to do that because he's Donkey Kong and not Link. Like Link doing that feels way more out of character.
Even these moments right here, they're so satisfying.
They aren't. Okay,
Crank up your stereo, man. I don't know what to tell you. I don't understand how you can't think that this is exhilarating, this stuff. Like
it's just smashing random shit. I don't care. I don't know what to tell you, man. Like I don't care about this game. And to Tyler on the YouTube chat, Matt decided he hated this game when it debuted, and nothing was going to change that. I have changed my mind on tons of games that I didn't like when I first saw them. This did not change my mind, and some of that's because I do not care about Donkey Kong as a character, which is not necessarily a killer because you don't care particularly for Donkey Kong as a character either. So that's not the variable.
This game transcends all of that, Matt. I'm just telling you,
Disagree.
Dude, as somebody who is...
I'm allowed to dislike the fucking game, man.
You are.
Like, come on.
I'm just trying to figure out your reasoning here.
I just don't like anything in it. Like, I think it's squirrely.
Come on. That's a ridiculous statement.
I don't enjoy it. I don't. Like I've already paid lip service to how technically impressive I think
you
it
had
is.
dug your heels in on this game. There was no way you were going to come on today and say you loved it. There was no way. You had never ever dug your heels in on a game like you did.
We're already at the point where now my opinion's invalid because I magically decided I was always going to hate it. I don't do that to things.
This was the first game you've ever done that to, Matt. I've never seen you react to a game the way you did to this game before you played it.
No, I reacted that way to Concord.
Did you even play Concord?
No, I didn't bother. I mean, I bothered to play this, but it's not an online multiplayer shooter. That's why. Because there was a chance I would like this. I was never going to like Concord.
Okay, so I'm just trying to figure out, like, our job here is to help people figure out whether they should buy a game or not. And you're saying this game's horrible, it's a piece of trash or whatever. Who are you helping with that opinion? Like, who else out there is like you that you can reach with your opinion to help them decide to not buy the game?
I don't know. 2 people in the chat already agreed with me, so there you go.
Who?
They scrolled off.
Did they play it?
Yeah.
Did they?
Oh, now people who agree with me never played the fucking game?
I'm asking.
Fuck off.
I'm asking.
Come on.
I mean, you played 2 hours of a 40-hour game. Like, I don't know if that's really giving it a fair
shake. And I don't want
to
play any more of it. I don't know what else to tell you. I wasted $70 on it. I'm not getting that back.
I don't see him.
It was up further.
Anyway, whatever.
It was Best Jeppy, I think.
No.
Yeah, he's repeated it. I agree with Matt. I played about 10 hours.
So what do you agree with him about, Jeppy? That's what I'm curious. Like, what point did he make that you're like, yeah, that's how I feel? That's what I want to see.
I mean, if you don't like it, you don't like it.
So other ways that this game is like Zelda.
Childish tantrum, fuck off.
Other ways that this is like Zelda is it also has like a bunch of different challenge rooms, like small, almost like the shrines. So there's some that are just one banana where you just go in and it's just like a brawl. You just fight off, like you have like a minute to kill like 10 enemies or whatever. And that, as you get later into the game, those are the points of the game where it challenges you to learn, because there's like again, as you get later on in the game, the elements this stuff is made of starts to matter. So like if you fight like an enemy made out of like volcanic whatever, or out of lava, and you spray him with water, it turns him to stone. And the game starts to have this almost like rock, paper, scissors system with the stuff that the game is made out of. And those challenge rooms start to push you. They're like, hey, you've learned, okay, water will freeze volcanic enemies. So you remember that. Other things work that way as well. And those challenge rooms, as they start to get harder throughout the course of the game, that's what you kind of start thinking about. And then there are other smaller rooms that are like shrines where they put 3 bananas in each one. And like the first 2 are easy to find. And then the third one, you really have to search for it. And those challenge rooms are what I think the game generally is too easy. But those challenge rooms really kind of put your skills to the test. Not just your skills, but also the knowledge of
Have you died?
Oh, yeah. Millions of times. Yeah. Over and over and over again. There's sometimes so here's the other thing about the digging mechanic. It's fun and it's awesome. And I think Nintendo probably did about as good a job as it could have done with it. But there are times where you're digging and you just dig out the side of the world and just fall and die. Or there's sometimes where you're digging down and there'll be like toxic sludge underneath the level or lava. And you dig down into that stuff and it burns you or it poisons you or whatever and you die that way. So there are some drawbacks to the way they built the stuff. You kind of start to learn after a while, though, oh, I'm in a lava level. I need to be careful with how I dig here. So it kind of does put you on guard to kind of watch out for that stuff in a lot of ways. But again, the game is just, the messaging from the game to the player is just freaking brilliant. It builds your mental database of all this stuff and then just layers it on as the game goes. This is also another game, and I feel like games are not designed like this anymore, that gets better as it goes. Like it used to be, developers would save like their really amazing levels for like later on in the game. And that kind of went away
that
after.
That definitely changed in I would say that changed in the late PS2 era.
I agree. Yeah.
Where they it's like you front load it with the fancy shit to make sure that everybody
people get hooked in.
Anyone who rents it and anyone who reviews it sees the best stuff first.
Right. And in this game, it gets better as it gets, every part of it. The graphics, the levels, the way that they start layering on the abilities that you've learned, you start mastering that stuff. It just, I got so sucked into this game. I mean, I've been hopelessly addicted to it for like 4 or 5 days. And I do agree that the first couple hours are slow. Like, I started playing it and I was like, I'm like, maybe this game isn't going to be anywhere near as good as I thought it might be. And then 2-3 hours in, it started to turn. And then, by the time I got to the 10-hour mark, I was like, oh my God. Like, this game is freaking sublime.
So what sub-level did you find it turn that corner then?
The third one, I guess it was.
Okay, well, I got to the third one and kind of put it down. I did hear that you could skip the freezer level, which I thought was interesting.
So you get to a point where they give you a crossroads. And on the left side, there's like the frozen level. On the right, there's a forest level. And I thought that was the case. I thought you choose. And so I chose the forest level because I hate snow levels because usually you slip around and you don't have traction. And I hate that crap. So I chose the forest level and I was like, I may have to come back later and play through this ice level or on my second playthrough or whatever. As it turns out, the way the game works, you go back there anyway and end up playing through that other level anyway. You just kind of postpone it, I guess. Now, here's the thing. Like, Nintendo did say that you can miss parts of this game depending on how you play it. That's not my experience. At least I didn't recognize that I missed any parts of it. Like, I thought that was what they were talking about, and then I went back and I ended up having to play through the snow level anyway. Because you have to. Because those levels are where you get the transformations. So the snow level is where you get the zebra transformation. So you're going to have to go at some point and play that level. So I'm not sure what Nintendo was talking about or what those things are that you're talking about that you saw online. But for me, I don't feel like I missed anything.
People were saying you could go past the one and come back to it later. And I guess the thing they were talking about was the idea that like whichever one you pick, you fight the same bosses. And so to make up for that, when you go back to the other one, they just sort of give you the bananas that you would have gotten for beating those bosses in those locations.
I didn't see anything like that.
Obviously I haven't been
Maybe
there.
Maybe I did something where I avoided it. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Obviously I haven't been there, so I don't know. But I thought that was interesting that you could backtrack and like basically pick up a bunch of extra bananas.
Yeah.
Which I guess doesn't matter that much in the sense that like bananas don't gate the game the way that stars and shines previously.
Yeah, they really don't. That's the other thing that's different about this is that they do not gatekeep the game. Like usually in these games, the bananas, the stars, the moons, they control whether you can go to the next level or not. That's not how this one works. It really is like it's just a narrative thing, and you can just go. Now, I don't think that you can start the game and just start drilling down and go all the way and fight the final boss.
You have to go down the big holes specifically to each thing. And there's obviously the story bits, and you got to get the Kong mode and get Pauline and da-da-da.
Yeah.
But, you know, it is not a game that expects you to be completionist.
Yeah. I can't even imagine. Because there's just stuff
there's probably
everywhere.
There's probably someone who's already done it in 10 hours.
There's a speed run of like 2.5 hours, I think, out there right now for this game. I'm at like 40.
That can't be 100%. Though.
No, definitely not. It's just finishing the game. I'm at like 40 hours at this point, and there is so much stuff left for me to like uncover and find.
Ashes in the Hourglass, it says maybe the challenge rooms will give Matt the experience. I did like the challenge rooms more.
Did you?
I did. Like
they get way better.
The more focused, kind of in the same way that I like the blue coin challenges in Mario Sunshine because they took the fucking flood thing away.
Yeah.
And just let you play Mario. Thank you.
Yeah.
That is kind of, I guess, probably my thing is generally I like a platformer to be. Saying I want a platform to be a platformer is too.
You just want to jump more and do other stuff less.
I want it to be a structured, curated experience. I do not want an open sandbox.
Okay.
Which is why I love Astrobot, which is very much not a sandbox.
Yeah.
Like there is one way to get through every platforming challenge, but you got to be really good at it. And that is what's interesting to me about. Actually, it's more interesting to me about 2D platformers. 3D platformers make me swear, but but this doesn't scratch the 3D platformer itch for me at all.
Interesting. To me, it does. Like if you're a fan of like Rare's games.
But that's exactly why I keep thinking about Banjo-Kazooie and wishing this was like Banjo-Kazooie.
It is, though.
But it's not, because
this, to me, is just Rare's next 3D platformer that they never made. Like, it even has the googly eyes on stuff.
I mean, I admit they probably would have gotten here eventually. You're probably right. But I would have been out at that point. Like this is Banjo-Kazooie to me is exactly what Astrobot is. It's a very curated, specific, like be good at a very specific motion experience. And this is, more like Tears of the Kingdom, where it's like, did you like intricate and puzzle-based dungeons? Well, too fucking bad, asshole. Build a bridge.
Yeah.
It's just not what I'm
the difference,
after
though,
for
like,
these things.
Building a bridge in this takes 10 seconds. You just grab the shit and just throw it, and it just sticks together, and there's the bridge. Like, it's not this convoluted thing.
It does benefit. I mean, it benefits over Tears of the Kingdom in that regard in two ways. A, it's goofier, so it doesn't have to be as intricate. Right. And B, it's Donkey Kong. So you can kind of do whatever you want. The disappointment for me in Tears of the Kingdom is more that I know Zelda doesn't have to be that. Mm-hmm. Zelda has never been that. Donkey Kong is a much more free-form thing, I think. I mean, obviously, you can't just make Donkey Kong Country again. Mm-hmm. So you got to find.
There's Donkey Kong Country in this too, though.
There's
side-scrolling levels.
I recognize the Donkey Kong Country stuff in it too.
And the mine carts.
There's music, and they're not ignoring the legacy of Donkey Kong.
No,
obviously.
There's so many homages in this. And look, believe me, the whole time I've been playing this, I have been thinking about Astrobot, which is a game that I also love, my game of the year. How this game is different, one, it's just way bigger and way more involving, and you feel like you're actually like sucked into a game world a lot more. But the other thing that this one does is it doesn't introduce something and then just like quickly discard it. Like once you learn an ability in this, the game makes you learn it and get good at it. And I feel like that immerses you into the game's world a lot more than Astrobot did. Also having
when you say what do you mean? Like give me an example of an ability you have to quote get good at in this game.
Well, like just the rip and tear stuff in this. Like when you first start doing it, you're like, oh, I can just pick stuff up and throw it. But as you start playing it, you start learning all the different abilities that you have with the rip and tear mechanics. And in Astrobot, it's like they give you something. Like I explained it already. I went through all this different stuff that you can do. You can use it to surf on it. You can use it to throw. You can use it to build stuff. It has all kinds of multi-purposes.
So is that specific to the types of things you pick up, or can you do it with anything?
So that's the other thing. I mentioned this earlier as well. Like the stuff that you pick up matters. So certain turf that you pick up, if you jump and you try to surf over lava with it, it dissolves right away. Other pieces of material that you pick up, you can grab it and surf on it, and you'll make it like 200 yards before it dissolves. And all that stuff matters when you're building.
The toughness of it.
Right,
whatever they call it.
The terrain rating.
The terrain rating.
Which is something that they rate each level on in this game. And it matters. It makes a difference.
That seemed to me to be the most important upgrade early on. Was to upgrade your ability to
punch,
to damage
and grab.
The terrain rating.
Yeah, because that is really the key to the game. Like, they really work that stuff big time. And by the time you get to the end of the game, you're a master of it. Like, you used to have to stop, at least I did. I have to stop and think. Now I see a situation, I'm like, I know exactly what to do. And I know 3 different ways I can do it, but this is probably the easiest way, and that's the way I'm going to do it. Again, as a gameplay first guy, this game is crack, man. Like, it really is. Everything feels amazing. The way he runs, the way he jumps. I do wish the double jump was handled differently. In this, you have to hold something to do a double jump. So you have to have torn something from the ground, jump once, and if you jump again while you're holding it, you can do a double jump. But instead of just tap and jump twice. And I found out later on that's because one of the transformations you get gives you like a high jump, and so they built the game around that. I would rather have a double jump by tapping the jump button twice.
I definitely felt, I mean, I wasn't sure if maybe you got something else later, but early on he feels really limited mobility-wise, unless you're climbing something.
Yeah, because they want you to do the rip and tear.
Yeah.
Because that is the key to playing through the entire game, is learning those mechanics and understanding how they work and how the different terrains interact with each other, and the type of terrain you should grab if you want to build. Like, some of the muddier terrain, like, it takes a lot longer to build because when you throw it, it'll smash down. So you want to use, like, stone when you're trying to build a pathway.
I just can't care. Like,
you don't think about it. It just becomes, because the game
Right,
does
but
such
I
a great job of teaching you and building up your skills. That's what makes this game crack, dude. That's what separates good 3D platformers from mediocre and bad ones, is building that database in your mind.
Well, these days it's just, do they exist or not?
Right. Yeah, because they have kind of gone away.
I mean, that's the thing that makes this, I don't like this in the way that someone would be like, I'm not going to play Madden because I don't like football. Right. Like, it's literally how high level this is for me. Like, it's just not what I want out of a 3D platformer in any way. But I'm certainly not going to sit here and say that, like, it's not technically one of the most... I think this is one of the most impressive technical games of the year, like, on any platform.
I think people who really love 3D platformers, this may be their game of forever. I'm not exaggerating. It could be that good.
I mean, at the very least, if you like Donkey Kong 64, buckle up, because this is so much better than... This is better than Donkey Kong 64.
It makes Donkey Kong 64 look like a joke.
Because Donkey Kong 64, I think, is a good example of how not to do the kind of platformer I like.
I agree. I played Donkey Kong 64 and enjoyed it.
So maybe this is the secret. Maybe this is what Donkey Kong was always meant to do. You know?
If you're maybe a casual person who plays one 3D platformer every 4 or 5 years, you probably won't like it as much as people who really dig this genre. Nintendo fans...
Oh, Vortex Complex, I will never stop the DK64 hate. I can give quarter to this game, but DK64...
I agree with a lot of Matt's points on DK64. It was 1999 or whatever, so I give it a pass on some of the stuff, but I agree with a lot of your criticisms of it, for sure.
The big thing, and again, having gone back to it just to poke at it a couple times, the biggest thing, if the draw distance of the golden bananas and the collectible bananas was as far as the terrain... I would up my rating of that by 50%. Like, if you could see where you're supposed to go without having to go there to get your goals. Yeah. Because in that game, it is gated by bananas.
It is.
You can't get any further. And there are a couple times where I'm like, I don't know where any more bananas are. It's like, you better just do this intricate platforming thing to get close enough for the draw distance to show you there's a banana there. Yeah. So, 100%. But, I mean, probably again, I don't think I've ever liked the Donkey Kong game very much.
I don't think he's a likable character. Well, I'll be honest. I don't like Donkey Kong Country games
I don't like
either,
the Donkey Kong Country games, and that's always made me weird. Yeah. Because everyone seems to think Donkey Kong Country is the greatest thing ever made. And just like this, Tropical Freeze, I thought was just a technical achievement. Like,
beautiful.
Just the visuals on there are incredible. But again, no pun intended, ice cold.
Yeah, I didn't even come close to finishing that game.
So this is apparently I just am not down with the Kong.
Yeah, I mean, look, again, I'm not a fan of him either. I just really love 3D platformers.
I just think it's funny that every different iteration they try of how Donkey Kong can play,
you don't like it.
I don't like it. I don't know what it is.
Here's some cool stuff. Like, I did this with Astrobot as well. I went through a list of like things that I saw that I was like, that's really cool. I also did that with this game to a lesser extent. But there's like one mechanic where they show. Put us on camera for this. So there's one, there's some parts of the game where they have like platforms where they show you a wireframe, like an empty platform, and then a full one. And if you attack the full one, it adds to the empty one. And so you need to take away from some platforms to build other platforms that you need to get somewhere. The other thing I'm going to say before I start going through all the rest of this stuff is that this game is a master at not wearing something out. Like, if you play something in this, and you're like, I don't really like that all that much, it's gone. On the flip side, there's also some times where you play stuff that you really like, you're like, I wish I could get more of that. But no matter what, they never wear out their welcome with any of the stuff that I'm about to talk about. So it's kind of hard to explain how this mechanic works, but there's empty platforms with a wireframe around them. You take away from a platform that exists, and it adds it to the wireframed one. You have to be very careful about like what parts you take out of the platform so that it'll add to the other one, so you can use the other one to get where you need to go. Very creative, very unique. What else? There's a mechanic where you throw a seed, and it creates like vine pathways. So you get like these green seeds, and you throw them. Whatever they attach, it will then spawn like a green vine pathway that you can walk on. And you can just keep spamming those. Like, I thought maybe after like 2 of them, they would start disappearing. Nope. You can build like this crazy network of like vine pathways if you want to, using that mechanic, which is pretty cool. I talked earlier about how you use ice and the elements in this. So there's one level that's like mostly like volcanic lava and stuff like that. And you pick up like pieces of ice and you use them and you throw them strategically to create pathways through the lava so you can get to the places that you need to go that were like in the middle of the lava. You also eventually get a transformation that can inhale almost anything, and you can use that to also kind of clear the lava. So that's another case where there's like multiple ways to kind of do the same thing. There's other, so I talked about how there's different properties for all the material in the game. There's one property, it's like a rainbow colored like rock. If you pick that up, it sends you just shooting into the stratosphere, up into the sky. And so once you grab that, you start learning like how much you can turn, how much you can adjust that. You start looking up into the sky to figure out like you're basically platforming with like 300-meter jumps, if that makes any sense. There's another section where the whole world is bouncy. This is the one I was talking about where you're like, oh, I don't really like this all that much, and then it just goes away. But this whole world is just bouncy. So the whole time you're just constantly bouncing like high. You can adjust it like so you only bounce like 100 feet, but if you just let it go, you're bouncing like 300 feet. You have to basically platform through a whole level at like 300 feet or whatever, which I thought was pretty cool. But again, I was like, I don't want to do that very often, and then it went away and I never did it again. Yeah, and then my big complaint about the gameplay is what we talked about earlier with the wall climbing. How you're climbing on a wall and you're going right and you're holding right, and then all of a sudden holding right doesn't make him go right anymore. And you're like, what? And you hold left, and then there's goofy stuff with that for sure.
Yeah, I figured that was just because I hadn't played long enough to like figure out why it does that.
Nope, it's like that the whole way through.
Well.
Yep. For me, the game was not a cakewalk. I've died a ton of times. The bosses are way too easy. I literally have beaten every boss in this game, like the first time, and some of them in like 15 seconds. I'm not exaggerating. Like if you transform into the more powerful version of Donkey Kong, and if it's a boss you can just attack, you just wipe them out. Literally in like 10 or 15 seconds.
Yeah, so, the first like boss-ish thing is that, you know, where all the little things get together and form the big thing. Yeah. And I was like, oh, okay, I gotta bid it. And then I'm like, oh, I just hit it. Yeah. It's like, when it's not metal, I just hit it. Yeah. One thing, okay, on that, when it charges you, sometimes it'll trip and flip over. What are you supposed to? And I jumped on top of it. I'm like hitting it down. I'm like, it didn't seem to. Like, usually, video game language is when the boss flips over, you jump on it and hit it on the bottom. What were you supposed to do? Like, I didn't find anything that felt like specific to.
Well, you beat him, right?
Yeah, but I never. Hitting him when he was flipped over never mattered.
I don't know if I remember which boss are you talking about.
The first thing that when you first meet the main bad guy and they send the little squeaky things, they all form together into the one big version of themselves.
Yeah, I don't remember though.
It flips over and like it's like, oh, obviously I'm supposed to hit it, but really when it's not in that form, you can hit the legs and it just makes it smaller until it's small enough to just beat the shit out of it and kill it.
I don't remember that actually.
And so the flip over thing, I was like, aha, video game 101. Like when it's flipped over, that's when it's weak. But I never found it being flipped over to be of any more use than anything else.
Yeah, I don't remember what you're talking about actually.
Well, then it must not be of any use because you didn't attach any significance to it.
Well, you also beat the boss without doing anything with it. So.
Right, but I was just wondering if you did it, considering all the talk about different ways to do
different
things.
Ways to do
I'm
stuff.
like, did you do that differently? Is there something when it flips over you can do it faster?
I don't even remember actually.
Like, I don't know.
Yeah. I guess that's the other thing. There's a lot of bosses in this game. Some of you will fight twice.
I would guess. Do you fight versions of the same bosses over and over again?
Sometimes you do, yeah.
Yeah, maybe I'll find another one that
where it actually matters.
Yeah, depending on what it's made of. Because that's the thing is, it's normally made of like the little rock material you can punch normally, but when it charges you, it turns into metal you can't damage. So when it's flipped, I was like, oh, that must be when it's weak and I can turn it back into rock. Right. But then it just flips over and turns back into rock anyway. So I'm like, well, maybe other versions of it. That's the material it's made of will make a difference, but I don't know. That was just a question I had.
Yeah. So you're seeing outfits here. Outfits matter. They give the characters buffs, and basically there's a set of outfits for each level. And obviously each level has a theme. It's forest. It's the snow level or whatever. So like in the snow level, you get outfits that help you fight the cold. In the volcano level, you get clothes that help you withstand heat a lot longer. And so all that stuff matters. And then you saw. If you get back to the gameplay, you have like a collection of stuff in the top left there. Oh, it just disappeared, unfortunately. But you have these things that are red balloons, and the red balloons are to save you from dying if you fall in a gap or if you fall in like a bottomless pit or whatever. If you have a red balloon, it will float you back up, and you won't lose the life. If you do lose a life, you lose 500 in gold, and then as you saw just a minute ago, the gold is what you spend to buy stuff at the shop. Otherwise, the gold is kind of pointless, though. I don't know. I felt like kind of a frivolous thing to collect in the game, other than the stuff that you can buy with it.
It was not nearly as important as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah. And then you can get, like, juice cans. Like, you can see, again, in the top left there. Like, those cans next to the balloons, that they will save you. Like, if you die, it'll refill your health and stuff like that. So you do have kind of, like, these safety nets that they put into the game to try to keep you from dying. I still died all the time. Because there are tons of bottomless pits in this, where if you just fall off a ledge and fall into the lava, you just die. And then there's the issue of just basically drilling your way out the side of a level and falling off the side of the level into the abyss. Like, that's the other thing about this is, like, these levels have bottomless pits, but you're inside a planet. Again, like, don't think too much about this game.
No. It's like, well, I just fell so far that like he falls like miles between level. Like it's don't worry about it.
But between the map, there's crazy extensive fast travel in
cartoon logic. It's fine.
It is, yeah. But between the map and the fast travel options in this, like, when you really start getting to the point, you're like, okay, I want to finish this level. Where are the last bananas that are left? Where are the last fossils that are left? Because you also collect fossils in this that let you buy stuff. It helps you get the upgrades as well. So if you go to the map, you can just cycle to fossils.
Well, of course you do that because, like, clearly gold is worthless in the Mushroom Kingdom. Like, now I have a lot of questions about the economy here.
I don't think this is even set in the Mushroom Kingdom, though.
Well, they're all connected somehow.
Yeah.
Like, they just don't come. But is this where the gold comes from? They make all the coins out of it. Mario's is just like full colonialism here?
Yeah.
Exploiting the poor Kongs for in exchange for bananas for nothing. Sounds like Mario.
Yeah, so you can fast travel inside a level. Each level has 5 or 6 different points that you can travel between. It doesn't cost you anything. There's no detriment to doing it.
Well, you've got to be eaten by an eel.
Yeah, that's true.
Cost.
And then you can also travel between levels themselves using also the elevators or whatever they're called. So once you really get to the point where you're like, okay, I played through this level, I found what I found, and now I want to clean everything up, this game provides you all the tools that you need to be able to do that and find everything. You can see the check marks and stuff that I've already done, like the black icons are the fossils that I've missed. And if I had missed any bananas in this, but I had already found them all, if I had missed any, there would also be banana icons showing you where the missing bananas are. So you can see at the top there, Matt, that's where you tap L and R, and it'll cycle you through all the important stuff on your map.
I know that.
And then
I don't find it to map very well between my 3D brain and my top-down brain.
How about the frame rate tanking in the map screen?
Yeah, I mean, I kind of understand that because of what it's doing. It is actually pulling back to show you the entire level in real time seamlessly.
It's a little weird, though.
It's weird, but I'm also kind of inclined to cut it some slack for that.
Yeah.
Less so when it's happening during actual gameplay, when you smash enough particle shit, especially in super mode, and it gets a little framey.
Yeah.
But like,
people have saying it's been making them sick. People have been nauseous playing this, yeah.
I mean, obviously, I'm not far enough to get where it gets really crazy, but like,
I haven't had any problems myself.
I thought it was performance-wise, especially considering what it's doing. It seems fine to me.
Frame rate was better than I thought after Nintendo put out that message.
Yeah, that's same.
I was kind of expecting the worst, and it actually isn't. There's a couple instances where it slows down. But
I understand the concern about like, oh, if this is the first big exclusive for the system and it's already having frame rate problems, like, but I'm pretty happy with what it's doing technologically here.
I mean, this may be the limit of Switch 2. It just may be.
And I'm kind of
It's fine.
Okay
it
with
looks
that.
great.
Like,
it's fine.
Yeah.
It's never going to look as good as a PS5.
And it's not. I mean, look, the number of characters, the size of characters, the quality of animation, the amount of space, the size of the environments, the detail on the like I don't have a lot of graphical complaints here.
Like, I'm excited to see Zelda and Mario with this level of
absolutely
for sure.
I mean, yeah, I just don't. I mean, fucking looking at the Pokemon footage this morning, it's just like, where the hell are you guys?
Yeah, right. Well, I will say this: like, art is always subjective.
Oh, sure, but
some people like art, some people don't. But some of the levels in this, the color choices are a little extreme. Like,
I think the like art direction wise, I think this game's actually kind of ugly.
Is garish at times.
But like, I think like from a technical perspective, I think it's amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, there are definitely some levels where you look at it and you're like, ooh, that's kind of ugly.
Oh, yeah.
And it could be, I mean, DK64 was like that, too.
Some of these levels are like a kid's shirt in a 90s commercial came to life and became a world.
Is
like,
that
it's just like, what
often
are you...
say, it's like a unicorn vomited.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
Yeah, there's definitely some levels that artistically, at least for my proclivities, look a little ugly. But technically, this game is impressive.
Oh yeah, it's unicorn poop deco, but like it's probably the best that's ever looked.
It's true.
I mean, come on.
Yep. So look,
you cannot argue that it's not colorful.
No,
and
that's for sure.
And they use the most of the colors are there for a reason. They tell you what a thing does or what it's for or what it interacts with.
Yeah.
Like I mean, I don't like the character design. I don't like the new Donkey Kong character design. But I don't really have any graphical complaints about this game.
Technically,
I think it looks great.
Pretty freaking impressive. Yeah, playing it in 4K with HDR on my LG OLED. Nice.
Yeah, like I'm sitting here like when it, thinking about the game of the year, like graphics contention. I'm like, well, is this better than Death Stranding 2?
Technically,
how do you even compare the? But like, is it
different.
Like more? I don't know. Is it more memorable? Like.
They dedicate a lot of polygons to the characters.
Yeah.
And so it does leave some of the world a little angular at times. But again, when you have the destruction going on in real time. The other thing that blows my mind about this, Matt, is how you can destroy the living crap out of the world, leave, and come back. And it is exactly perfectly the same.
I was very impressed by
that. That's insane.
When I went back to a previous level, I'm like,
it's insane. Every little divot you've taken out of the world stays there forever.
Because that was actually one of the things I was thinking about with the Death Stranding comparison. Like, Death Stranding doesn't do that.
I mean, no game does this.
Like, I mean, Death Stranding does remember where you leave shit, but it cleans it up eventually.
Right. You can also, by the way, you can go back. So I've made mistakes in this game where, like, I destroyed crap and it made it hard to, like, complete a mission. Mm. You can restore the territory if you want to, but it restores the whole level. Mm. You can't just choose like one little section or one little puzzle to restore. You have to choose the whole thing, and so I just figured out another way to do it.
It doesn't undo the stuff you've gotten, right?
No, you would still keep the stuff that you've collected, But otherwise. But it's, I don't know. This game, again, artistically not that pretty, but technically... doing some stuff no other game's ever done.
This is Nintendo's biggest technical achievement since Breath of the Wild.
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, this is Breath of the Wild with full destruction.
Yeah,
because these levels are pretty much as big as the levels in Breath of the Wild. They're gigantic.
I'd say like if you take a whole sub-level, it's about the size of like an environment area in
the new
Breath
Zelda
of the Wild.
games.
Yeah, I mean it's vertical, but it's about the same space, I would say.
Yep, I've had a blast with this game. I still have not 100%ed it. I don't know if I will, but I'm going to get close because I have not lost my interest.
That seems like a job.
Yeah, I think it would be a job. But again, the map and the fast travel stuff would help a ton with that. But I'm still just enjoying playing the game.
But if you had the time, you would.
Probably, and I won't.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, and I won't. But
that's a diabolical game design choice right there. The fact that when you finish a level, it throws those bananas in front of you and then drops it to the next level. Like, you want to talk about not having a good stopping point?
Yeah.
It's like, oh, I finished the level. Well, I should go down and get the bananas. Yeah. Like, I did appreciate that. Like, a little bit. I mean, like what you said about you always got to fill the bar. You always got to, you've accomplished something. That's like one of the most insidious.
Yanking the carpet out from underneath you.
It's like, come get it. Oh, look at all the new things. It's like it's so nasty. It's brilliant but nasty.
Yeah. So I've spent like 40 hours with this game. I am not tiring of it at all. I still love it. You guys know, if you've been watching GameFace for a long time or follow me for a long time, I love 3D platformers. It's probably my favorite genre. That's waned over time, mostly because of what you said.
Because there aren't any.
There aren't any to really worship the genre anymore. I'm just saying, as someone who really likes this genre, this game is crack. Like, I started playing it in the first couple hours, I was like, and then it just took off, and I just got completely lost in it and just wrapped up in it, and I literally spent 4 days straight playing it. Every waking moment I had. I got up at 6:30 in the morning on Saturday morning and started playing this game, and played it all day until 2:30 in the morning. I got up the next day, I started at 7:30 and played it all day. I just got completely and hopelessly hooked on this. The game, it really is. For me, the gameplay in this game is what really did it for me and what really sold me and kept me going. It's how they keep layering. They teach you something, and they teach you how to get good at that something until you've mastered it. And then you start seeing these levels that would have confused you 4 hours earlier. Now you're like, oh, I know exactly what to do here. And that's a good feeling on top of, like, getting the bananas way too frequently, I would argue. So I would like to see just Nintendo in general, like, start designing these games where every accomplishment means something. Mm-hmm. It's like, instead of just giving away the bananas, find something else to give away.
Right, but
like,
I think you need to. It's either you structure these things classically, or you do it like this.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know what people are going to do, so you have to keep rewarding them for what they're doing.
Yeah. Because you are digging around in this. Like, you start digging around, stuff just starts going off. You're like, I found 5 chests. I found, like, 4 balloons. I found 5 fossils. And it's like, you can't even keep track of all the stuff that's, like, firing off.
That's kind of the disappointment of, like, when you find out what the fossils and the gold are for. Yeah. And you're like, oh.
Well, they're for
the fossils are good because they're for his clothing, and they give you actual gameplay bonuses.
The
but
gold.
Like, the gold is like, well, that's not as important as I thought it was. I'm not as excited as when I hit sometimes you hit the glowing thing and all the gold flies out and you're like, ooh, you're conditioned by Mario games to be like, oh, look at all those coins kind of thing. But in the end, it's just like, nah.
Also, if you ever watch, like, the actual meter of your gold,
fossils are the
well, you can find the ultra rare ones too, and those are the ones that you really want to find because there's big rewards for those.
I don't want to admit how long I hammered on that stupid first humpback whale fossil until I realized you had to clear the debris off the bottom. I'm like, what is wrong with this bone? And finally, like, oh, okay, yeah, I get it.
It's funny. But yeah, and this game is just fun to fiddle around with, like just diving down and just digging, seeing how far you can go, just transforming, and then seeing how you can destroy stuff is like the more powerful form of Donkey Kong. It all just the tactical feedback of everything, the sound, the visuals, the rumble in the controller, all of it. It's
actually, I guess that's the point of the goal, is to keep you in super form.
Probably, yeah.
Because that's what
it does. Yeah, it refills the bar. And I would also say too that, like, you can pretty much stay in super form.
Yeah, you can always be super
the entire time. Yeah. And I think that's smart.
And they knew that because there's a super version of all the animations and all the cutscene stuff. Like he's still in.
This is all real time, by the way. Every cutscene, whatever outfit you're wearing, all that stuff.
There's no cheating anywhere.
No.
It's really impressive.
Yep. So that's Donkey Kong Bananza for Switch 2. Let's jump to you guys and see if any of y'all have been playing it. Let's see what you're saying about it. Let's see. The problem is that Ozzy came after the linearity went to an extreme with 3D World and Sunshine. Well, 3D World was kind of linear. That's what
he meant. He said 3D World was the extreme of linear.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, and I didn't like that game.
No, I actually think 3D World is too linear.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's too strict.
Yeah. Best Jeppy, I agree, is crack. Like crack you use while it's not actually want to. Okay. Have you tried dock versus handheld? I have not played it in handheld mode at all. I never do. I never play games in handheld mode. So no, I haven't checked it out. I did read something where somebody was like, it looks amazing in handheld mode, but I'd
imagine it runs better in handheld mode, right?
You would think it even looks better because the screen's way smaller. It probably looks mind-blowing.
Well, unless you hate the screen because, I don't know.
Yeah.
Digital Foundry said so. It seems fine to me, but
does the game perform better? This is from Andy T. Monahan. Does the game perform better if there's less of the world to go back to? Oh, I forgot to mention another thing that bothered me about the graphics, Matt. Did you notice, like, when you're leaving an indoor area, the whole world outside goes brown?
Yes, I did see that.
What the hell is that?
I don't know what that is.
It's like a glitch. Like,
it's very quick, but it does happen.
Is it Nintendo trying to do the thing where when you walk outside, your eyes take a while to adjust? Because if so, that's the worst implementation of that I have ever seen.
It never occurred to me that it might be intentional.
It looks awful.
I thought it was a glitch.
Yeah,
but now that you say that, maybe that is what it is.
It happens all the way through the game. All the way to the end. And
God, I don't know. Now I think I'd have to see it again.
I don't know what that is. I
thought that was some weird graphical glitch. I'm just sort of fine. Again, I'll cut a lot of graphical slack on this game for how ambitious it is.
Yeah.
But no, I didn't think of that. I mean, if that's supposed to be like a glare.
I don't know what
effect.
It is.
Like I don't know.
It looks bad.
I don't know now. I don't know.
Andy T. Monahan, back to your question, does it perform better? He's asking, like, since you're taking away...
If you destroy more of the world, does it run smoother?
Because he's asking if you're taking away the polygons, it should run faster. But I think the thing is it's a trade-off. So they've removed polygons, but now the game has to remember the geometry that you've left behind.
Yeah, I think that's just ones and zeros, though.
I mean,
what I wonder is if does it keep the wireframe memory of the terrain, whether it's filled in by actual
I think
polygons.
it probably
or not.
would have to.
I don't know how that tech would work.
I think the proof of that is that other stuff I was talking about, where they have a platform that you're taking away from and it's adding to the other one.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, I think so, but I don't know. 100%.
I would definitely watch a no-clip documentary on the tech of this game.
Me too. Yeah. This level that shows now is the one that made me queasy. So you did get queasy, Jeppy. So some people out there did. People laughing about your unicorn poop deco comment.
Luigi's Mansion 3 did look pretty great on Switch 1.
Yeah, it really did. Yeah.
That was some of the best cartoon style visuals I think I've ever seen.
And Vincent reminds us that this game does not use DLSS. This is just running full bore on the hardware, no tricks or anything. So to Vincent's point, it could eventually look better. Yeah.
I mean, again, I think if this is the kind of the ceiling of no DLSS Switch 2, I think that's pretty good. Like I don't really need Nintendo games to look much better than that.
Eth Demon says, to me, it looks like a cool sandbox, not much of a platformer. I'll say this, there's more combat in this than a lot of platformers, for sure. There's a lot more combat, but don't be fooled. It's a platformer. There's plenty of challenges where they challenge your platforming skills, for sure. Cinetyke, it's easier to get sick while transitioning from one FPS to another rather than being like, yeah, you're right. If it fluctuates, that's when people get sick. Yeah. They should just peg it at 30.
Because it does do that. Like basically, it doesn't chug so much as it just switches to 30 sometimes.
Yeah, which if you're playing it at 60 or higher, it seems like it's like.
Oh yeah, you definitely notice it. But I guess if you're susceptible to that, that would be more of a motion sickness problem, especially considering how fluid the up and down are in this game when you're really like getting into it.
AJ Legend says, I actually got sick after the first session. Okay, wow. It sounds more common than I thought.
Don't even need to strap it to your head.
Bananas You Missed doesn't show as far as I know unless you find or buy a map. Yeah, you're just finding maps all the time. Like every time I dig around, it's just like the map icon just keeps popping up while I'm digging. Like I've never not had a map if you're even moderately like digging around. Does Fossil buy anything but cosmetics? No. But does cosmetics give you abilities?
Yeah, the cosmetics enhance abilities.
Yeah,
they're not important. They're not nothing.
Yeah. Hope Shane Sitch is doing okay. It's getting late. Dazzle 369. You must be in Europe. That's why we do the show at 1 p.m. here, so you guys can watch in Europe still. And I know it is a little late, and we appreciate you guys.
We're not that old yet.
Yeah. Let's see if we got anything else here. Raphael Michael saying the bosses are very easy. I suspect there'll be a hellish end game where you have to fight all of them in succession or something. I'm not going to spoil the end game, but I will say this: the end game is freaking awesome. So get there if you can, because it's worth it for sure. Anything else? Mirko Supreme. The game design is creative, but it's clearly meant for a younger audience. Why? Because it's a cartoon ape. I'm not going to even entertain that. I've been fighting against the kiddie crap since I started in this industry. I'm not going to fight it again here in 2025. If that's the way you look at games, you need to open your mind. That's all I'm going to say. Because you're really missing out on playing some really great games.
That's not what he was saying at the end of that comment.
Well, what?
He was saying that it's more targeted to sort of the attention deficit.
How we were talking about the banana stuff. Yeah. Gotcha. Okay. My apologies. All right. That's it for Donkey Kong Bananza, our review. I will keep playing it for sure, but I've finished the main campaign, and so I'm just like cleaning up stuff. I don't know how long it's going to last, but as of right now, I am still hooked on Donkey Kong Bananza. All right. That is time to move on to our next topic, but before we do that, here's a word from our sponsor, the Repair app.
Cracked phone screen, stuck zipper, busted bike, borked HDMI port, persnickety PlayStation. Don't toss it, boss it with the Repair app. The mission is to build a world where repair is the norm, not the exception. Snap a pic, describe the issue, and find local pros ready to fix it fast. It's not a marketplace, it's a movement that saves your stuff, your sanity, and the planet. No fees, no credit cards, no data collection, no stress. Just fast and fabulous fixes. Track your items and the repairs, log warranties, build a repair history, and become the hero your stuff deserves. Fight landfill guilt, save some cash, and support local business all at the same time. And best of all, it's free. Join the Repair app waiting list today at therepair.app and be among the first to get access. Fix it, keep it, repeat. Because trash is so last century.
That's right. Once again, I just want to make sure that we have the URL correct for the people who are listening to the show, because in all honesty, far more people listen to this show than watch the show. It's really kind of staggering, the numbers, when we started collecting from all the different podcast services that our show is on. So don't forget, it is TheRepair.app, A-P-P, TheRepair.app. Head on over there. I hope you guys are listening to me, and you've already started going into your closets looking for stuff that's broken or stuff that you don't think works anymore, because you can get that stuff fixed. We are really kind of seeing like a paradigm shift among electronics and clothing and a bunch of other stuff, where people are starting to think about the idea of like, where's all this stuff going? What about this big chunk of metal that I bought 3 years ago that isn't worth anything anymore? Where is all that stuff going? In landfills and the ocean.
France.
You're going places, people. Bad places. We don't want it to go anywhere. Start looking through all your stuff. Start figuring out stuff that you need repaired or fixed. Even like a favorite pair of jeans that fit you just perfect and you love wearing them, and suddenly one day the zipper on those jeans broke and you just couldn't bring yourself to throw them away, because someday you may take them to a tailor and get them fixed. Now is the time. Go to therepair.app. Sign up there. You'll get alerted whenever the app goes online, and you can start sending in your stuff to get repaired. And the best part is, it's just connecting you with people around you in your local area, in your town, in your city, in your county, or wherever. You're also supporting local economies. You're supporting your local people. Maybe your friend owns a repair shop. This is going to be a boon for them. This is going to be a boon for everybody. Shoe cobblers, any place that, like consignment places for clothes. All this stuff is going to have a renewed vigor, a renewed market because of the Repair app. Again, go to therepair.app, start getting your stuff together, and get ready for the launch. All right. Next up, it's the middle of summer, Matt. Things get a little slow around these parts. And so sometimes you have to get a little bit creative.
I forgot a game came out.
You forgot a game came out?
I completely didn't realize until someone mentioned in the chat today that Shadow Labyrinth is out.
Yeah. There's billboards for that down in Little Japan. Mm-hmm. They put billboards up down there for that game. I couldn't believe it.
I think it's all tied in with kind of the secret level stuff and all. I mean, it's
that, and it's
Namco's pushing it hard.
It's Pac-Man's 40th, I think. I think
Pac-Man
45th, maybe 45th. Yeah. So like the billboard, it's a two-sided billboard. The one side was for Shadow Labyrinth. The other side was just Pac-Man. So I think that it's part of their marketing push to celebrate Pac-Man's 45th.
But I was interested in that, and I completely didn't realize it came out
that's a
3 days ago.
Metroidvania, kind of set in the Pac-Man universe.
I mean, it's a dark reimagining of Pac-Man.
It's really bizarre. Yeah, we'll probably tackle that next week's show. There's a couple games that are coming out this week that we'll tackle next week's show. But this week, it was just all about Donkey Kong. And then a bunch of other crazy stuff happened. And there was, at first I put these topics in the lightning round. I knew there was no way we were going to be able to get through them without full-on discussion. So we're going to discuss today video game content. A couple things happened this week that kind of set off some alarms across the industry. Matt, the first one we're going to discuss is that Valve announced this week that it is starting to pull some adult video games off of its service for people to buy because credit card companies started complaining that they were going to pull their service from Steam if they didn't start cutting some of the adult games from its service that people could buy. As it turns out, there's some far right-wing whack job in Australia, of all places.
They come from there.
Who organized 1,500 people. It only took 1,500 people to call Valve and call the credit card companies, and the credit card companies contacted Valve and said, we're going to cut your service.
What is it? The name of that group, isn't it like Collective Shout?
Right.
Or something?
Yeah, I think that is
I love the fact that the right-wing dipshit censorship people literally named their organization a bunch of people yelling.
Right.
It's like it's like they know like that what they're doing is stupid.
And so some adult-oriented games are coming off of Steam. So we're going to discuss this part of the topic, which is a credit card company dictating the content of art. The second half of this discussion,
art,
right? Yeah. The second half of this discussion is going to be about what art should not maybe be sold, and we'll shift gears and move to that in a minute. But first up, Matt, how do you feel about this? So the credit card companies contacts Valve. Valve has been selling these games for, how long has Steam been around now? 20 years?
They've only been selling the porn games for a certain number of years.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
they haven't been on there from the beginning?
Oh, no.
Oh, I thought they were.
No. I don't remember when they started. That was in the last 10 years or so.
Okay, well, let's say 10 years. Yeah. So credit card companies have been fine with Valve selling whatever it's selling on its service for the last decade. But now all of a sudden, a couple people call them, and they are now dictating what we as consumers can or cannot buy. Now, look, Matt, I'm not an advocate for most of the adult games on Steam because they're trash.
And most of the stuff they targeted was incest related. I don't know why that was their specific
I don't even know
concern.
why that exists, honestly.
Incest porn is a really big deal.
What?
It's a huge category.
That is insane.
Usually step children.
Oh,
Like
well, that's a little better, I guess.
But like, no, it's like
holy crap!
You look at Pornhub, like that's one of their top searches. All the
Really?
time. Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Oh my god, that's very disturbing to hear.
Yeah. Well, I mean, welcome to 2025.
Wow, that's crazy. Well, that definitely changes my perspective on this a little bit. Because I just thought that these were games that nobody cared about and were just up there and no one was buying.
I mean that too.
So you don't think people are buying the?
I mean, I'm sure they are to some degree, but I'm look, this thing's free. Like you just pay for the porn part. Basically, that's most of them are. The games are free. If you want to see boobs, you gotta
pay for the
over
boobs.
$5.
Is that really how they work?
It's basically how they mostly how they all these like asset flip and things work. Yeah.
Now look, I don't want you to think that I like these games or I think that I'm gonna recommend that people go and buy these games. The bottom line is, for the most part, they are art, whether they're bad art or whatever your perspective is on it. Generally, they're kind of art. But, and again, that gets to the line of what is art and what should be sold or what won't be sold, and we'll talk about that in a minute. But, Matt, how can we keep a credit card company from dictating the content on a game delivery service?
We can't. We live in a capitalist system, and the method of payment is always going to be king. That's just that's just it. And especially across the international borders, like American copyright law may or freedom of speech laws may protect that kind of thing here, but it might not in Australia. And it kind of comes down to whether Valve feels like losing that credit card processor's business in Australia. And if all the credit card processors in Australia get together and say this, then are you cool losing all the revenue you get from Australia?
That's not Australia. It's the U.S.
Now it's U.S.?
Oh, yeah. It's U.S. It's not Australia.
But the guy came from Australia.
The campaign start this started in Australia, but they actually attacked the credit card processors in America. They were contacting American credit card processors.
Which makes you wonder why the credit card processors care what those people say, but that's my question.
They even admitted only 1,500 people that they were managed to corral. But 1,500 was enough to convince the credit card companies to contact Valve. And
far fewer numbers of people have gotten books banned. So.
Mm-hmm. Valve's official statement, I should read this just so you know where it's coming from. We were recently notified that certain games on Steam may violate the rules and standards set forth.
Someone said, what the actual fuck is this B-roll?
This is
that is basically what I was thinking. Yeah.
This is the adult games.
And this is all it is. It's just, there's no animation.
Right.
It's just
They're just stills.
It's just like shitty, basically poser.
Yeah.
Like
that's all it is.
Screenshots.
Yep. They just render a bunch of chicks with big boobs and put them in position and take a still, and that's pretty much it. Back to Valve's statement. Steam. I'll just start again. We were recently notified that certain games on Steam may violate the rules and standards set forth by our payment processors and their related card networks and banks. As a result, we are retiring those games from being sold on the Steam store because loss of payment methods would prevent customers from being able to purchase other titles and game content on Steam. So basically, Valve is saying, like, look, we're going to have to sacrifice these porn games on the altar so we can keep selling you all the other games. Mm-hmm. Because if they lose a credit card processor, they don't just lose them for selling these games.
Yeah, it's for everything.
It's for everything. Valve and Steam would basically go out of business at that point because Valve isn't making games anymore and has no other way to generate
unless you want to mail them a check. That's basically what you're stuck with.
So Valve is basically saying, like, look, like, either we do this or we go out of business. Which do you want? And most consumers are going to be like, I can't have my Steam library disappear over a bunch of crappy porn games. I get that perspective, but it's a slippery slope because anytime now somebody gets angry about a video game, let's say there's a political video game that either, let's say it's a pro-Trump video game or whatever, and a bunch of people on the other side contact the credit card agencies. They're like, oh my God, I can't believe that there's a pro-Trump video game on this service. That should come down. I think he's a fascist. I think he's a traitor. Like, are they going to contact Steam then and be like, you need to take down this Donald Trump game? Like, how far does this go? Is the problem. It's like once you do something like this once, it creates that opening for other things to happen. Because I guarantee you, if enough people read about what happened from this group in Australia, they're going to be like, really? They only needed 1,500 people to get Valve to stop selling these games on its service? That's nothing. I can get that from my Twitter feed in 10 minutes. And next thing you know, you have a bunch of yahoos calling the credit card companies, and it turns into a disaster. That's the problem. Is that once you do something like this once, it inspires other people to do it again.
But there's nothing you can do about it.
It's crazy that there's nothing we can do about it.
And the good news is that the slippery slope fallacy is in fact a fallacy, and it doesn't really work that way. Like, it's easy to target incest porn games.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it would be a lot harder to get a group of your Twitter followers together and be like, we demand Steam takes down woke games.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what is that? Well, one of them's Spider-Man 2 because there's a pride flag in it.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what the hell does that mean? Like you're not going to be able to strong arm that the way you can with it, because these kinds of things, these kinds of games, that is amazing. These kinds of games.
At least this game's animated.
I think you get a much more universal. This is almost like reminiscent of like the old like shitty 90s
People like
things.
this stuff. Who? It's insane, Matt.
You know what? At least they got real people together in a video camera and did something. You know, like as opposed to this where you're just reusing the same Lara Croft model over and over again. I think it's a lot easier to get people to sort of see this and kind of knee-jerk be like, oh, what the hell? Who cares if that's there or not?
Right.
Like, I think it's a harder uphill battle if you're talking about trying to get rid of everything Ubisoft publishes. But there's not really anything you can do about it because the credit card processor is how you get your revenue. Like, there's nothing you can do if they decide to be dicks about it. I can take them to court, I guess, but like, who knows how that goes.
Mm-hmm.
Again, I think if they were trying to get taken down like more legitimate like games that you wouldn't think of as like, porn, you'd have a better court case. I don't think you would win in court with these. And why would there's no they don't make enough money off these to be worth that fight. I think if you came after stuff we would consider quote unquote real games, you would have that fight.
I mean, think about a game like Far Cry New Dawn. Was that the one that was kind of about like Trumpers? No,
that was Far Cry 5. It was about like the religious cult in Montana,
right?
Yeah,
which there were parallels. Obvious parallels.
Definitely.
Yeah. Like I could see people targeting.
New Dawn was the post-apocalyptic one after that cult destroyed the world.
Oh, right. But I could see
no comment.
But I could see people getting really angry over that and contacting the credit card company.
Right, but the difference here is that Ubisoft's legal team will then respond to that, whereas like no one who makes these games is gonna.
They don't have a legal team.
They don't have a legal team. This is asset flip crap.
And look, don't get me wrong.
And so in that respect, they are targeting the little guy. They are targeting like people who can't defend themselves against something of this caliber.
Yeah.
So that kind of sucks. As much as I don't care whether these
games.
It's not like I would never have known these games were gone.
Yeah.
I would never know this happened.
I didn't know they existed until yesterday.
Yeah.
That's the funny part.
Wait till they see the eShop.
So you don't think that this is something that could escalate into further issues on down the road?
I mean, they certainly could try, but I don't think they would be successful. No, not in the long run.
So you think that the reason they were successful here is because there was no one to stand up to them, basically?
Pretty much, yeah.
Yeah.
I think they found a target and realized it was vulnerable.
I mean, couldn't Valve have stood up to them?
Yeah, but why would they?
I mean, I guess it depends on how much money they're making off of them.
Yeah, I don't think they're making enough money off these to be worth
that. Probably is why.
Yeah, it's all money.
It's all finance. Yeah.
I mean, I appreciate your question about art and freedom of expression, but it actually has no relation to this at all.
Well, I mean, again, art is very loosely.
Right, and you get in the question of whether porn is covered by First Amendment rights, and then you get.
I mean, there's a freedom of speech argument at the root of this.
At the root of that, which basically comes down to that old quote from that congressman whose name I can't remember anymore. I know it when I see it.
Mm-hmm. Porn, he was talking about.
He was talking about porn. I know, which is not a legal definition of anything.
Right.
But also, we all know what he means, don't we?
Mm-hmm.
So. Yeah, I don't think this is any kind of like canary in a coal mine, unless you are also making other kinds of porn games.
Right.
I guess like if you're making porn asset flips on Steam, yeah, maybe you should be a little concerned right now. Maybe start thinking about starting your own service. So.
And I'll be honest, I am a little unclear exactly everything that was cut. Like, I don't know if it was just like incest stuff, like you said, or if it was just maybe I had read that it was LGBTQ stuff. So here's another statement, actually, from an LGBTQ influencer. Quote, Banks like Visa and MasterCard are now backdoor moral authorities. They already pressured Patreon, OnlyFans, and others to remove not safe for work content. Now Steam is next. And guess who they'll target first? Queer, transgressive, or quote-unquote unusual games. Queer content gets flagged as explicit even when it's PG. Mm-hmm. If banks raise a fuss, they'll make anything that could be controversial. They'll nuke anything that could be controversial, and they'll just say, it's out of our hands.
Right, but again, while the concern is legitimate, the response would not be the same.
So you think LGBTQ games have people who would stand up for it?
Yes. Yeah. Removing a bunch of incest slop is not going to get an audience response to the degree of we are removing this just because it has LGBT themes in it.
That's true.
That is the way you lose. Because remember, George Bush, one of the ways he won the 2000 election was by standing and saying, I will not allow gay marriage to happen. Mm. And, a few years later...
Wait, didn't the Supreme Court hand him the presidency?
Yeah, but the fact that he was as close as he was one of his big platform planks was no gay marriage. And then even to the point that even Obama wouldn't commit to it when he was running in 2008.
That's right.
But then we got it.
Yeah.
Not that long after.
Well, he was just saying what he needed to say.
And now they did the same thing with trans people, for the 2024 election.
They did, yeah.
And the point I'm making here is
Kamala didn't bend the knee.
No, did not.
She stood tall.
And the point I'm making here is that that kind of social progress, you can't put that back in the bottle. Mm-hmm. And B, most people, even hard right people, balk at unfair treatment of individuals when you really put it in front of them.
Yeah.
And you'll more and more you were starting to find even by the late aughts. These hardline Republicans who were like, well, I think if that makes you happy, then you should be able to do. They came around to it for the most part when it kind of became clear there was no way to stop it.
Yeah.
And part of that is because
or they realized that one of their friends was gay.
Right. Part of that is because when you come after that audience, you get pushback, hard pushback, large pushback. Millions of people come after you when you do that, when you target that community. And that's simply not true when you're targeting the incest porn anime asset flip community.
That's true.
That's the difference.
Yep. Okay.
And you will have, the ACLU would be involved. The different gay rights organizations that have legal funds would get involved. There is nothing like that for what they are targeting here. I think you are probably right that this is some kind of dry run for something like that.
Yeah.
But I do not think that they will.
That it will succeed.
I don't think it'll be a walkover like it was for this stuff.
Yeah, because this was a walkover. They hardly did anything, and they won.
Yeah.
That's startling to me.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about the actual content itself. Content that I don't want to say maybe shouldn't be sold, because again, you're talking about free speech and First Amendment rights, but maybe the stuff that really does cross a line so that there aren't enough defenders. So this week, there's a game called Ready or Not. It's a first-person shooter that's been available on PC for quite a while. And it is a controversial game because it features things like school shootings, where you go in and you stop a school shooting. The game released a nightclub shooting mission on the anniversary of the Pulse nightclub shooting. And so there's a lot of controversy swirling around it. The game just launched for consoles, and it was censored. Now, let me get the B-roll running so you guys can see what the game looks like. This is the school shooting level from Ready or Not. And this mission, you're responding to an active shooter situation in a school. And then there's the nightclub one. There's also another child exploitation ring mission where you go. And basically, here's the thing is they censored this game, but they didn't really cut the content that people were concerned about. You can still play the school shooting level. You can still play the nightclub shooting level. They just took out things like nudity and stuff like that the console manufacturers are like, no, we can't let you show a dong, even though games do show dongs. They cut stuff like that out of the game. They didn't actually cut the stuff that I think most people were kind of, I don't know if they're angry is the right word to use or whatever, but to your point earlier, Matt, about how you have a big enough audience complaining, this game's community definitely rose up and went after the developers for bending the knee and changing the game, and also went after Xbox and PlayStation for demanding that the developers change the game. How do you feel?
But what was changed exactly?
Like I said, they took nudity and some over-the-top gore. Some of the child stuff, I think they removed some of the children maybe from it, from the child exploitation ring mission. but they didn't like delete the missions is what I'm getting at. You can still play through the missions. They've just kind of nerfed them a little bit. Is this game going too far, Matt? Like, I guess what we're trying to figure out here is what's the line? Like, over the line of what is in good taste and maybe should be sold.
I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think there's really any line of what you can try to sell. The market will tell you what it wants or doesn't want. I don't find this. I mean, the fact that you're trying to stop the bad things from happening in this game kind of mitigates it to some degree.
I agree with that.
I think you can argue it's in bad taste to make a game out of this because it's such an ongoing hot button, strip from the headlines issue kind of thing. I wouldn't necessarily be interested in playing that, but I don't see a reason to not allow it. Like, I understand why they don't want nudity and they don't want dead children on the consoles. Like, if you have a standard to meet for a PlayStation 5 game, and they can't all be Legend of Black Tiger. So I get that. I mean, if your option there is just to not put your game on the console if you don't want to change it that way. Obviously, they were okay changing it that way in exchange for money.
That's what it all comes down to.
And if you want to play the unedited version, you can go play it on PC. If they had changed all the versions of the game like that, that would be a little more annoying, I would say. But I find a lot more to kind of raise my eyebrow in a game like Hate.
That game was way
or things like that.
That game was. If there's a game that went over the line, that's definitely one of them for sure.
Like this is just this is a little edgy.
It's like I try to put myself in the perspective. If I was a parent of a kid who experienced a school shooting, how would I feel about this level? If I knew somebody,
Vincent says they did change all the versions.
Oh, they did. I didn't realize that. I thought they kept the PC version the same.
They kept parity?
The modders changed it back. Yeah, immediately. Okay. Within like 5 minutes or whatever, they were able to change it back.
PC gaming.
Yeah. But imagine if you're gay or you have a family member or somebody you know was a part of the Pulse nightclub shooting. How would I feel about that level?
Yeah, I mean, that's your own feel. I mean, some people may find catharsis in that.
Yeah.
Some people may find it the most offensive thing they've ever heard of, and your option in that case is to not play it. Like that. Like that's, like again, I don't find this particularly tasteful. Like it's like okay, like you certainly knew you were going to get talked about. Like that's sort of, it feels very cynical to me in the sense that like. They knew that people would talk about this because that's what this, it's a hot button issue. But again, your option in the case of things like this is to not play it, to not watch it, to not read it.
Do you feel that way also about like incest games?
Pretty much. I mean, as long as no one's getting hurt in the making of it, like, if you're just, the asset flips don't have feelings.
Like how far can it go though? Like what about a game where you abuse children?
I mean, I would use that as probably a useful way to track the people who play it. It's like
I mean, artistically, you're like that needs to be available.
I don't think that's the same as setting a shooter in a school. Like that's.
I'm just trying to figure out like where is the line? Is there a line?
I don't know. Like I don't really. I'm not into like forced censorship. Like you can't make that.
I agree with you just on principle,
but like
there's certain stuff.
But I would argue again, like the game you just described. I would like to think that no one wants to make that, but probably sure there absolutely are.
Sadly, yeah.
We probably know several of them by name, although not in person. But yeah. I could go through some headlines, and you could probably find some people who would play that game.
I mean, every form of art has a dark side of its industry.
Oh, yeah.
Like I was into punk and hardcore, and in that scene, there were Nazi bands, Nazi skinhead bands, Screwdriver and bands like that, and like. They were awful, and they, their lyrics were terrible. But even back then, did I think that like they shouldn't be allowed to put out albums and make music? I didn't. Like,
no, but I mean, it's just there's some things that I do pretty much find to be artistically worthless. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of stuff I look at it that way, for sure.
And not in a sense of like, well, that's just not my thing. It's just like, what is this adding to anything? Like I felt that way about back when we did all our segments about Japanese porn games back on Tech TV and stuff, where we found that one series of games that was just about stalking and kidnapping people, and I'm like, I don't think this needs to be a thing.
Remember that weird game Yandere Simulator? Like when SIFTD first launched, it was a thing, and it was this game where you like basically killed waifus.
Oh yeah,
Like waifus were obsessed with you, but you'd murder them and then drag them around, and they leave like these blood streaks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Even that, like, I didn't feel like it went too far. Like, what about hatred?
I mean, that's what I meant. Hatred. Hatred is what I meant, not hate.
Yeah.
Like again, like hatred though.
Should that game have been on the market?
I don't know. Like I think if you're like Steam or whoever, you need to make a decision whether you think that you want that on your market. Should it be prevented from being made? Probably not. Should you put the people who made it on some kind of watch list? Also, probably. You know, like
the other considerations though is like, I don't know. It feels like you do get to a certain point where you kind of have to draw the line because it starts to represent the industry in a certain way, and it's like, do I want... My mom may be watching this show right now, and she may be completely aghast that there are video games out there that feature incest. Mm-hmm. And my mom will see that and be like, oh my God, I can't believe this industry that my son works in has things about incest. Like, if there is a certain point where it starts
for God's sake, Code Veronica.
Right. You're right. But there is a certain point where this type of content starts to taint the industry in general and could maybe be detrimental to the industry in general.
That point is light years away, though.
Yeah.
Like the vast majority of people will never know any of these things exist because they're just not important.
Yeah.
They aren't important. They're not good. You know, I'm sure a lot of the people that play Ready or Not just play it because it's edgy and cool. It doesn't look like the best shooter of the year by any means.
Yeah. It sold 1 million copies in its first 3 days on consoles.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
I mean, controversy sells.
It sells. I mean, to be fair,
to me, this is just like another version of No Russian.
Yeah.
You know, like
I guess.
Except you're not gunning down civilians.
Yeah, kids for me are different though. Like going into a school.
Yeah, but then look at like when fucking these open world RPGs come out and everyone's mad that there aren't children around to kill.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean, look, there's depraved people that enjoy every form of entertainment. There's no doubt about it. But there does come a point, I think, where if there's too much of this stuff and too much of this stuff gets too much of a focus in pop culture or media, then I do think it could be detrimental to the medium as a whole. And I'm just kind of trying to figure out like what games step over that line that would be detrimental to the games industry. I think I could include like incest games.
I don't think that's a metric that you can decide.
Yeah,
like you
never could measure it,
and it doesn't matter. It doesn't fucking matter that a bunch of asset flip incest porn games exist on Steam. What the fuck does that have to do with Donkey Kong Bonanza? What does that have to do with Mario? What does that have to do with Horizon Zero Dawn? Like, there's porn movies too. Go to Pornhub and see all the same things times 1 billion compared to what's available in video games. Does that affect how you feel about YouTube?
I mean, it worked with rock and roll music though. I mean, for a really long time there was a huge stigma around rock and roll music
that was
for
forever
decades.
Ago. Like we grew up through that, so we're going to be successful with something different. But
I remember people being like, "Oh, if you play these records backwards, Satan talks to you."
Well,
it's
of course, but like those people are crazy.
Yeah. But there's crazy people right now.
And like you can't get rid of the crazy people. So like, I mean, decide whether or not you want to make the thing, I guess. But like, there can be consequences for those things. Sometimes the consequence is you get your game pulled from Steam because the credit card company bends the knee to a bunch of fucking weirdos. Sometimes you sell 1 million copies of the game that you set in the Pulse nightclub shooting.
Yeah.
Like, choose your weapon.
Yeah.
Basically. And what was it? Tyler does point out on YouTube that this is Ready or Not is basically the successor to SWAT 4.
It is,
which
also is controversial.
Which there isn't really an equivalent of it anywhere. So I get that. And to be fair, if you're going to simulate that kind of thing, that's the kind of thing SWAT is doing these days. So
Mike's Q says, I disagree respectfully that things like those incest abuse games don't have any positive use in the world for anyone. I don't understand what he's saying there. Are you saying that you don't think that there's any redeeming value? Or are you saying, because your sentence makes you sound like you're saying there is redeeming value?
There is
redeeming value,
a positive use in the world.
That incest games have a positive use
I decline
world.
to speculate for the good of the court record.
I think Mike's Q, I think you got your sentence screwed up there. I think you didn't type what you meant to say. I know Mike's Q. I've met him in person. Like one time when I was home for the holidays, I was home for a fantasy draft. I stopped and had lunch with him. He's he's not like that. Is what I'm saying. Like I think
you talked about incest porn.
No, he didn't. But he's a nice guy.
You got his take on the incest porn issue.
I think he just mistyped. I think he's saying that there is no positive use for it.
Well, then he's not disagreeing with me.
Yeah. Well, no, you're saying that like there is, but it just doesn't matter.
What?
Well, you're saying that like he's saying like you should get rid of them because there's no functional use for them at all. You did not say like get rid of them.
He's disagreeing with me that I said that I don't think those games have any positive use in the world.
He thinks that they do have a positive use. Is he still there? Are you there, Mike's Q? Can you defend yourself or explain yourself? It would help a lot. Vortex Complex says, as long as they don't come from my beloved Stellar Blade, because I still haven't played it yet, LOL. Let's see.
Stellar Blade is pretty vanilla compared to the other stuff out there.
So what we've been talking about for sure. Dazzles369 says, so ban Call of Duty and GTA. I mean, that's a slippery slope that we're talking about, though.
Mm-hmm.
That's what's going to happen. GTA 6 comes out. You don't think that same right-wing organization from Australia is not going to like contact like credit card companies and be like, you need to get that crap off the market? Probably they will.
They can try it, but good luck doing that against Take-Two's legal department.
In that case, Valve will be like, oh, no, sorry.
No. I can't hear you over all the money. Yeah.
Now,
again, whoever's going to give them the most money is who they're going to side with.
Yeah. Yeah, MiceQ never responded. Yeah. Veritas says, things don't have to have a positive use to be not banned. See, double negatives make sentences very hard to read. That's why you shouldn't use them. Don't and then not. The double negative in that sentence. It makes it hard.
It's a pretty clear sentence. You don't have to have a positive use to not be banned. Sure. Like, I don't think you should go around deciding anything that doesn't have a positive use should be banned.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm just saying that if I see a thing and I'm like, I don't really see any real point for this being in the world, artistically speaking, it's a lot harder for me to be like, defend to the death your right to say it. Not me. I choose my battles. Thank you very much.
More what about GTA? Dazzle369. I assume if you're an adult, you can play whatever you want, whether it's sick or not. You can, but it has to be there for you to get it. It just doesn't materialize out of thin air.
Yeah, and again, I'm sure you can go find things like that on less reputable websites than Steam. You know, like, doesn't mean Steam has to carry it.
Mm-hmm.
I imagine those games that were taken off Steam here are still available somewhere.
Maybe. If they have like their own website or something, maybe you could download it.
I mean, I don't know.
Maybe GOG will host them still.
GOG doesn't have as much
it really
of
doesn't.
that.
Yeah.
Like, they're a little more curating, which I appreciate about them.
Swan Senpai says people should not be playing hateful murder sims. That's my view. You can disagree. I think it's sick. Fair. I mean, it's your opinion. You're entitled to it.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends where you draw the line of what a hateful murder sim is. Like, I would say hatred is, but there's people who would say Call of Duty or GTA is, which is what Dazzle was saying.
Yeah. Fire Native says there's always adult content, so be a parent. This isn't a parent issue. These are adults that are buying this stuff.
Yeah,
like,
I didn't read.
And I hear you. I agree. Parents need to be freaking parents.
I didn't read very closely kind of the complaint on it, but I did not get the impression that they were using the won't someone think of the children excuse. Mm-hmm. It seemed like they were using straight up moral panic, good of society shit.
Veritas says it's not up to the government to control my mental health. Which
True.
Maybe it should be because now we have crazy people living on the streets.
Well, yeah, Reagan dismantled the mental health system in the country, so that has been true since the 80s, so yeah.
Yeah. Nick Satois says, at the end of the day, video games are drawings. If no one in real life is being hurt, it should not be banned. It's probably a fair way to look at it.
Yeah.
Sanitite says at some point the responsibility of consuming the content, much like porn or gambling or whatever.
The size of that window is really annoying sometimes.
It is. Yeah, I agree.
Twitch,
the bigger problem are
Twitch,
these.
let us customize shit.
Seriously. This is the big problem.
That
these
is the
stupid icons here. And they attach to a post
and they're
for
stuck
some
on
reason.
the post.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't get it.
Just in case you want to pin it. So.
Best Jeppy says, I admit to being weird, but no Russian didn't bother me. Okay. At least you admit to being weird.
No Russian didn't bother me.
Yeah.
I mean, it's exactly what he said. It's just digital. No one is actually being hurt.
Mm-hmm. Fire Native, I'm offended if you kill human enemies, only robot.
I think that's a joke.
Nick Twat knows about Yandere Simulator. That's hilarious. And it is.
Of course she does.
It's cartoony and a little tongue-in-cheek, for sure. But it's still, what you're actually doing is pretty effed up. Vortex Complex, incest, definitely artistically worthless. I would agree with you there, but does that mean that there shouldn't be art made around it? And I use air quotes around art. It's not an easy question to answer. It just really isn't. Emperor Dread, all of what Shane's saying about victim impact is exactly how I feel about true crime media. Absolutely not a fan. Find it ghoulish. That's actually a pretty interesting perspective there, Emperor Dread. I'm guilty. I watched crime, drama stuff, whodunit stuff all the time.
Oh, he's not talking about that. He's talking about true crime.
What do you mean?
Like the true crime world. Like talking about real crimes. Like not Law and Order. Not procedurals.
No, me too. I'm talking about like the documentaries, like Dateline, stuff like that, where they investigate murders and stuff.
Yeah.
I watch that all the time. My wife, it's all my wife watches. She literally will watch nothing else on TV but that.
Mm-hmm. That's the main. Demographic.
I think a lot of women are like that. Yeah. And I usually fall asleep. She puts it on, and
yeah, actually,
I get about 20 minutes into Dateline, and I'm like.
I find a lot of it rather dull. Not because the crime is dull, but because I find the presentation just be very.
The
droning.
voiceover and.
It's all kind of, but I listen to Serial. I thought that was very interesting. Like, sure, I mean, humans are always going to be interested in A, the weird, strange underbelly of people, and B, the most horrific ways they might die. Mm-hmm. Like that's just something that we are all morbidly curious about for the most part, and there's a market that serves it. And again, your option is to listen to it or not.
Yeah,
like,
and you have the choice. Yeah,
yeah, Just don't consume it if you don't like it. Like it's just like tomatoes.
Yeah. Swan Senpai saying he's not down with No Russian. He says it's effed up. Who wants to play that?
When I played it, I didn't actually kill anybody.
I tried not to.
And then
you have to.
Well, you don't have to kill any civilians. You only have to.
I thought you had to kill.
You do not.
Oh, really? I thought you had to kill at least one.
Nope. You only have to. I only shot when somebody with guns showed up, and then at the end, of course, they betray. But I'm like, and then I was like. Did that happen because I didn't kill anybody? Do they know? So then I went through and I killed as many people as I could, and the same thing happens. So I was like, that would have been pretty cool if they knew you were a mole because you wouldn't kill innocent people. But that was not even as nuanced as that level. It was just, I don't know. I thought that whole thing was a little overblown just because it wasn't actually all that interesting.
Yeah.
And it wasn't ripped from the head. I mean, again, I get a more of a reaction from seeing the nightclub shooting level in Ready or Not than I do from No Russian, because No Russian is not based on a real event.
Mike's Q responded. He says, I was leaving work. Now you're terrifying me thinking the whole chat thinks I'm some sort of horrible goon.
Yeah, that your sentence did imply that incest games have
value.
that is, if you count up all the knots, that's what you end up on. So yeah.
Yeah. Again, double negative sentences can be confusing for people. Tyler says, with all censorship, it comes down to who gets to decide. I don't find artistic value in incest games, but I also don't want right-wing groups deciding what has artistic value. Yeah, what are we supposed to do?
I mean, if they're going for the credit card processors, there's nothing you can do.
Yeah. It's really crazy how they find ways to just F up everybody else's life. Mm-hmm. It really is. It's...
Again, their choice should be, oh, you don't like it? Don't play it. That's it.
If they used their creativity for good, God knows what they could do. Mm-hmm. It's nuts. So anyway, any last comments about this? Get them in.
It's like the end of All-Star Superman where Superman says to Lex Luthor, Lex, if you really cared about saving the world, you'd have done it years ago.
Yeah, that's a good point. The Legacy says, I just deleted it. Said something about crypto. Surprised that they don't use crypto. But that's the thing, like, for stuff like this, crypto, you can buy it. There's no trace that you bought it. Mm-hmm. Like,
I mean, if you're big on the incest game tip, it's probably better to be doing crypto transmissions through. I mean, that's probably where you're getting your real stuff, I guess.
Probably, yeah. So anyway, this is an interesting topic. And I think what we've just discovered trying to suss through it is, like, there's no definitive answer to any of it. It's just a gray
zone. If there was a definitive answer, they wouldn't be able to do what they just did.
Yeah.
Like the fact that like you kind of can intuit where the line of where your average person will be like, oh, I don't care if that's gone, but I do care if this is gone. Mm-hmm. Like that's you gotta walk. If you figure out how to walk that line, you can get rid of a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. Again, it feels like this was a dry run for something bigger.
Yeah.
Because what did you really achieve here?
Yeah.
All that you really achieved is proving that this worked. So I'm interested to see what
Which
they
is
try.
a big thing.
Yeah, I'm interested to see what they try next.
Right.
Because I don't think it's going to be nearly as easy to get rid of, all the games with pride flags in them.
They will try. I bet you they try, though.
I would imagine that will be
That probably
part of
will
their
be
next. Yeah. Anything trans related, maybe they'll try next. Would probably be my, good luck. Good luck getting down. And now I forgot the name of it. the indie platformer game where you climb the mountain, Celeste.
Oh.
Good luck pulling Celeste down without having people get real fucking mad at you.
That game sold like 10 million copies or
Yeah.
whatever. And I regret, actually, that I do not have the name of the person from the LGBTQ community who supplied that quote. I do regret that. Just editorially, I should have had that, and I regret that I don't. But the quote's legit. You can trust me on that for sure. But yeah, again, it's a deep topic.
I do agree with Nox Eternitatis.
Noxatornitis is how I say it.
Eternitatis.
I butcher it every time.
I still maintain suppression of others in cases like this is motivated by guilt. I agree that there's a lot of projection happening here from the people who are trying to ban these things. It always is.
Yeah.
Although my favorite, I saw this. It's been around. It's a tweet from a while ago, or maybe a Tumblr post, but I saw it last night again, and I always like it, where somebody's talking about how when they were a kid, they wanted to play D&D, and their grandmother was one of the people who believed that D&D was a portal for Satan. And so when he and their friends decided to play D&D, his grandmother's insisted on sitting and chaperoning and watching. And after about an hour, she just threw up her hands and says, "This is all just math," and left.
Exactly, lady. I mean, look, let's be honest. Ignorance is really what drives almost all this stuff. It's just, there's a difference between stupidity and ignorance. Ignorance is a lack of knowledge. People just don't know. They're not exposed. It's the same reason why
stupidity is refusing to remedy that ignorance.
I mean, it's the same thing that's going on with brown people in America. Most of the people that hate brown people, they don't know any. Funny, the people who live in cities and live around brown people like brown people. Funny how that works. It really is. It's just ignorance is really the root of almost all the problems in our society. People just not being exposed to things. And you can't force them.
I'm just amazed you make it here every week through all the fire and gunfire and anti-American sentiment.
Thank God the war died down so we could send the Marines home, Matt.
Yeah. Mission accomplished.
We had we mentioned that before. Somebody in a YouTube comment, they said a bunch of horrible crap. And then at the end, they made some comment about that and tried to blow us out over. And delete. I'll just put it to you, people, if your comments aren't showing up on our YouTube channel, it is because at some point you said something horrible. And I am very, I give people so much leeway, but if some people say horrible things, I just block them from ever commenting again. So all I'm saying is if you're someone on our YouTube channel and you post a comment and it never appears, it's because you did something really, really bad before. I'm just going to let you know that, because I don't ban people.
And Shane has said it'd be the credit card processing company of the YouTube comment section.
Fair enough. That's hilarious, actually. Okay, let's
and your incest porn comment is banned.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on. We're going to move from incest video games to Pokemon.
So lateral is what you're saying.
Yeah, I mean, there might be some crossover here, Matt.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
Incest porn to cartoon cockfighting. We're all friends here.
Yep. So this morning there was a Pokemon Presents, and yes, I was on it. I got up early and started collecting all the media from this thing so we could talk about it here on GameFace just a couple hours later. It was a red 5-alarm fire for me to get all this stuff ready, but I think I did. People were very excited for this, Matt, because it leaked out beforehand that it was going to be 24 minutes long. And usually Pokemon Presents are 10, 15 minutes. People were like, 24 minutes? We're finally going to learn about the next mainline Pokemon game. People were losing their minds.
As Gilbert Gottfried would say, "You fool!"
Yeah. And as it turns out, there was no mainline Pokemon game information in this Pokemon Presents.
You think they're going to tell you that when they still got Zeta A to come?
Yeah.
Come on. They got to sell you some shit first.
Yep, and that is coming on October 16th, and it was pretty much the crux of this presentation. There's a ton more that we're going to get to, but this is the big game that's coming out. This is the game that was really the focus. It had the vast majority...
No Donkey Kong Bonanza, is it?
No, it's definitely not. The vast majority of the time in this Pokemon Presents was dedicated to this, and we learned a bunch of new information about it. It is launching on October 16th, so not much longer to wait. Probably.
That was a lot of work on that salad, though.
Yeah.
Like, the salad is the best looking thing in this whole game so far.
By the way, this is a Switch 2 footage. This is as good as this game is going to look. Just so you know. They made a point to say that all the footage in this trailer is from the Switch 2. So
don't get too excited.
Yeah, exactly. First up, there is a Switch 2 bundle coming for this game. It is also launching on the same day as the game, and much like Mario Kart World, you'll be able to buy a Switch 2 plus the game for $500. Now, I don't think they were going to try to sell this game for $80.
I would think not.
My guess is it was going to sell for $60 or $70. So it's not quite as good a deal as you get with Mario Kart World, which was $80, but it's still a good deal. You'll still save at least $10 or $20 off the cost of the game if you're already convinced that you want to buy it and you want to get a Switch 2. The big revelation from this, and I'll just be honest with you, Matt, I feel like I have just been left in the dust for Pokemon. I play all the games when they come out for 40, 50 hours, but still, when I start like really digging into the Pokemon community, I realize I don't know anything that's going on, Matt. So the big focus that everybody cared about with this presentation, and I couldn't care less about, was that the Dragonite Mega Evolution Pokemon was revealed. Why is that such a big deal? Do you know?
I don't know.
I don't get it.
I'm not plugged in enough to that fandom to know why.
Me either. I have no idea why, but this was like the revelation from this whole thing.
Dragon Evolution?
Yeah, Dragonite Mega Evolution.
I guess because Dragonite, there's always been speculation in the fandom about certain monsters in the original 151 that they were supposed to be this, or this was supposed to be an evolution of that, but they mixed it up. Okay. Or this was originally the Butterfree and Venomoth. Like, it's believed that they were supposed to be the final evolutions of the other. Because you start with Caterpie and
evolves
Kakuna,
twice, yeah.
But it's backwards.
You go from a chrysalis to a...
Right. So because Caterpie should probably evolve into a butterfly, and Kakuna should probably evolve into the moth.
Kakuna should evolve
but it's the
into
other way around.
Caterpie.
No,
Caterpie should evolve into the cocoon. The cocoon should evolve into the...
Yeah, or Weedle. Weedle's the other one.
Weedle, yeah.
So, as Weedle and Caterpie evolve into what a lot of the fandom considers to be the wrong final evolutions, they think they were supposed to be reversed. Dragonite is one of those where people talk about... it's the same thing with the fan stuff, where it's like Ditto is a failed Mewtwo or failed Mew because he it weighs the same and but it's a failed experiment, so it can morph into whatever.
Yeah.
Dragonite, there's a lot of speculation over what it evolved from or what it could evolve into. So I guess this is finally answering that.
Apparently, he has never had an evolved form before.
No, he's always been just a singular Pokemon.
But still, why is that such a big deal?
I don't know. Because it's been 30 years and everyone's like, oh, finally.
Yeah.
But I'm sure there's a lot of people mad about it because it's not what they thought it was going to be. It's not their headcanon or whatever. I mean, messing with the 151 is no way to live, son.
I mean, it is kind of funny, though, that this is the next big Pokemon game, and that's the thing everyone's talking about. That doesn't bode well, I think, for new features.
Well, because it's ancient lore, and that's what Pokemon basically is now.
Yeah. Well, they put out a story trailer for this today and an overview trailer. So in all, there's 8 minutes of brand new footage that you're seeing right now. The game is set in Lumio City. It's part of the Kalos region from Gen 6.
Emperor Dread points out Charizard is not a dragon.
No.
He's not a dragon type.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that
he is a dragon.
Clearly a dragon. The whole system is fucked.
It is, yeah. I feel like not Nintendo, but Game Freak and Pokemon Company kind of dug themselves in holes earlier on and that they can't really get out of at this point.
Well, you didn't make that game thinking that it was going to be the fucking personality basis of half a generation. You can't make things like that.
Yeah. And the game features wild Pokemon that have begun mega evolving all on their own, and they've gone rogue. So it's basically your job as Team MZ to take down all the Pokemon that are evolving on their own.
That is somehow not what I pictured.
No. What?
The Dragonite evolution.
Oh. So obviously...
At no point in the last 30 years have I thought, you know what? I bet wings come out of that thing's head.
And so as Team MZ, of course, you have to have your arch nemesis, and that is called the Rust Syndicate, and its main baddie is called Corbo, and they're the ones that you compete against. The game is split between the daytime and nighttime. During the daytime, it's a typical Pokemon game. You explore the city, you find new Pokemon to add to your party. In this game, you can customize both your character and the Pokemon, which is kind of interesting. And then you can find citizens out in Lumio City to help for side quests. So you just run around kind of like an open world action RPG, talk to people, and you get your side quests that way. And then at night, the game changes, and that's when you take part in the ZA Royale, which is basically just trainer competitions where you're fighting other trainers, and that's where you mix it up with the Rust Syndicate and its boss, Corbo. So the game is kind of split into those two different time periods. They also mentioned that Mega Evolutions factor into the story. There's like a rogue Mega Evolution Pokemon that can't contain its own strength for whatever reason. It needs to be stopped. So you have to do stuff like that. Are you excited for this at all? I'm more excited for it just because it's like a more active form of combat more than anything.
I mean, agreed, but I don't. Excited is a strong word.
Yeah.
You know, like I'm more kind of resigned to playing this, but to kind of see what they did.
Arceus was like, it may be the least I've played a Pokemon game.
It was an interesting start.
I got about 18 hours into it and kind of lost interest.
This is a more interesting setting. Like, it felt like setting Arceus in like the distant past was sort of a bunt. You know, like
this is in Paris, so
this feels way more like a, you know, it feels like what Pokemon probably should have become circa 2006.
Yeah,
but at least it seems to be a forward motion. I don't know how far I'll get in this because I do burn out on Pokemon.
When you're like us and we've played every one, it's like if they don't have new features and new stuff, like I'll be honest, I still stick with them somehow. I still finish pretty much every mainline Pokemon game, and to be fair, I did not finish Arceus. I played it a good bit, but I didn't finish it.
I didn't finish it. I'm trying to think the last mainline Pokemon game I finished. I guess that was Sword.
I finished Scarlet.
I did not finish Scarlet or Violet.
I did.
I don't even remember which one I played.
Really?
I played one of them. Yeah. I don't remember which one.
This is why I'll play the game. This more like active approach to how the game's combat works.
That is more. I mean, honestly, if it was a standard mainline game, I don't know if I would really mess with it too much.
Really?
Like I understand why they are still where they are, and I don't really disagree with why they keep making them sort of the turn-based JRPGs.
Because you sell 40 million of each one.
That's what Pokemon is, and
yeah,
it should probably remain that.
Yeah.
But I would certainly like to see this sort of action RPG style side series come into its own. And so, I mean, I was on board with the the Pokemon. What was the ones they did where they remade the first one with Eevee and Pikachu?
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty good.
Yeah, Pokemon Let's Go.
Yeah, I didn't mind that at all.
Neither. It's a good middle ground.
Yeah, just a different way to play to break it up a bit.
I wish they would put a good team on these games, on the Legends games. It's like, get a real engine. Get some real developers can make a game look half decent. Like, I feel like we're still stuck in the GameCube era with these graphics. Like, obviously they're higher resolution, but otherwise they don't look that much better. Like,
I mean, in a post-Pal World era, it's sort of like it's a little insulting.
It can't hang anymore. Pal World looks better than this game.
Oh yeah,
by a lot.
Very much so.
That's embarrassing for the Pokemon Company. But again, this is coming on October 16th, so not much longer to wait. And again, it is also launching alongside a new bundle. We're not getting like the limited edition Switch 2 consoles, though. They're just packing in the regular console with the download code, and that's the bundle. So it'll be interesting to see when we finally get our first, probably the first Mario game, I would guess. You'll get your first red-colored Switch 2 or whatever. Yeah. But otherwise, just like with Mario Kart, this game just comes with a generic Switch 2 with a download code so you can download the game. But again, that's going to sell for $500, so you'll save $10 or $20 off of Pokemon Legends ZA. Z2A? ZA?
ZA. It's the big secret is that everyone's actually in pursuit of making the perfect pizza.
Next up.
Z2A.
Yeah.
In Europe, I don't know.
They showed off, finally, the first gameplay of Pokemon Champions. This is basically the modern version of Pokemon Stadium. It's had a couple different names throughout the years. But basically, this is just a battle-focused app for Pokemon. They had put out a trailer for this before. It was all CG.
If you want to play Pokemon, but you just think it's too story-intensive.
Or you just want to chop out the story, because let's be honest, is the story really worth following in most Pokemon games? Not really. But anyway, this features the ability to rent Pokemon if you want to. But it also has a connection to Pokemon Home. So if you have played a bunch of other Pokemon games, you've uploaded your Pokemon to Pokemon Home, and it is kind of a convoluted thing.
Yeah, and I have, and I think I forgot to renew it like 2 years ago, and I'm sure all my Pokemon are
all
gone.
wiped out probably. Yeah.
Years and years of legendaries and exclusives.
That really sucks. That made my heart hurt hearing you say that.
Yeah.
It really did.
I guess I could resub and see if it's still there.
Yeah.
But like, no, I had stuff going back to like going back to Platinum.
Oh wow. So this is pulling
as far back as you could still transfer. You remember there was a way to transfer stuff with enough link cables.
Yep.
And
there was a break
online
point at a
things
certain point.
Yeah, you could take it. I think Platinum was the hard limit.
Yep.
But I took some of my stuff from there, and it was all in those boxes, and I don't know if they're still there.
Well, this does work with Pokemon Home. So if you've been uploading all your critters to the app, you'll be able to use them in this. And this is basically just a more visual or the video game version of the Pokemon trading card game, which has also become a gigantic thing over the last 2 years since it launched.
Still very valuable.
Yep, and that's based on the trading cards. This is the same thing based upon the video game. So
you get
again,
people having seizures when they open some of those packs.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Pull out the $1,000 card, and they're like shaking.
Don't hold it very long.
Yeah.
But don't drop it either.
Well, the worst of that was for the Magic the Gathering Lord of the Rings set, there was one ring.
Oh, really?
One. They only made one.
Wow.
And it was estimated to be worth $1 million.
Oh, my God.
Who was it? Post Malone was offering $1 million.
Wow.
And somebody found it and had it on camera, and they hold it for like 20 seconds on camera before they throw it in like 4 different sleeves, so they can send it in to be graded, so they can sell it for. I think it sold for like $800,000.
Wow. That's crazy.
But they only made the one.
Yeah.
Well, there are non-exclusive ones that everyone has a one ring card, but that one was specifically special for one particular. The only one in the whole world.
Dang. Well, this looks pretty good, honestly, for a Pokemon Stadium type game. Maybe the Pokemon could be a little higher poly, because I feel like this is going to be around for a long time, representing your Pokemon.
These are going to be the Pokemon models for quite
a while. Yeah. So maybe they could have done a little bit of a better job with it. But look, if you're just into battle and you don't care about the other frivolities around the Pokemon series, this will be a godsend. I don't think they've announced the release. Oh, they said 2026. Yeah, it was supposed to come out in 2025. It's been delayed into 2026. We don't have a hard date for that at all at this point, though. But that is called Pokemon Champions. Next up, a game called Pokemon Friends that was just announced today. Here's the weird part about this game, Matt. It's free to play on mobile, but if you buy it for Switch or Switch 2, it costs $10. Why?
Because fuck you, that's
what?
why.
Seriously? Why would you screw It should be reversed. It should be, hey, you bought a Switch 2, you love Nintendo, you support us, we'll give it to you for free. People on mobile who don't give a crap about us, we'll charge them $10. What the hell?
Probably because they're microtransactions, I assume.
In this game?
In the game?
I think there will be.
So I bet there's microtransactions in the mobile version, and you probably just get the whole game when you buy it on Switch.
Well, so this is a little bit like Wordle. It's like a daily puzzle game, and it's for kids. Like, the puzzles in this are literally for like 5 and 6 year olds, even though they show like a 12-year-old trying to play it. Most of the puzzles that I've seen in this are very, very simple, but it's a little bit like Wordle, where you get like a new puzzle every day.
There it is. Vincent says the mobile version lets you play once a day. You have to pay $10 for unlimited access.
So it actually isn't free. It follows the free-to-play nonsense.
Yeah. So the Switch version, you'll just get to play.
You're paying to just play it as long as you want to. I see. So yeah, every day you complete the puzzle that they give you, and that unlocks like Pokemon plush items that can be used to decorate a virtual room that in the game. Again, not for adults, but for kids, I think probably this is something that they'd be into. Yeah. But yeah, it sells for $10 on Switch, and then I think probably this is just like Wordle for kids, basically, with Pokemon puzzles or whatever. So this could end up being... This is really smart, actually. And I am surprised, Matt, that more game developers have not tried to replicate the Wordle formula. Where it's just this little thing that you engage with every day. My mom plays Wordle every day and posts her results to her Facebook page every day. And her sister posts hers every day because they compare to each other. How many guesses did it take you to get it? It's a thing. I don't know why more games don't do this.
I mean, they're not easy to make.
Yeah, I mean, you have to know what you're doing for sure.
I think Nintendo actually got someone that specializes in this to do this, as I read right before we came on.
That makes sense.
So you need some. You can't just sort of jump into it. because again, every day you can play that every day. You're gonna start to know. I've played some of those like everyday puzzle things, and after a few, I'm like, this sucks. Like, I'm not doing this anymore.
Yeah.
Like you see, you can tell the ones that are good and the ones that aren't. And I imagine you need this to be of a particular quality because that's what Nintendo does.
You got to keep them coming back every day.
Yeah.
That's a tall challenge. It better be good because otherwise they're not going to do it. So
yeah, Vincent says it's made by a company that makes educational games. So yeah,
that makes sense. That's a perfect alignment
you
there.
gotta get the right person.
Yep. But anyway, that is called Pokemon Friends. Again, it's coming in. I don't know if they shared a release date for that either. Actually, oh no, it launched today. It's Shadow. I think it's Shadow dropped today. I think it's available already.
You can go make a Rayquaza right now.
Yeah, seriously. But again, that's called Pokemon Friends. And then the other final big announcement, kinda, is that there's some DLC coming for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet starting tomorrow. It's called, basically, you must defeat the treasures of ruined legendaries. There's like 4 different legendary Pokemon that you fight. And then I guess everybody has to defeat them 1,000,000 times to unlock the shiny versions of the Pokemon for all participants. And the schedule's insane. Like it starts tomorrow, but it's like very specific days and times that you have to show up for the raids. I mean, it's a raid. That's how it always works. I thought that was one of the cooler things in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. I really did. But
yeah, it is a reason to keep coming back is certainly a welcome thing for these games.
But I'm just not going to do it.
Well, no, but I imagine a lot of people will.
Kids definitely will. They have nothing better to do. So anyway, yeah, that is live now, and that will be running throughout the months to come. A bunch of raids coming to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. And then that's it for like the big stuff, or actually that's it for the stuff we can show you, because the rest of the stuff that they talked about are TV shows and stuff like that, and we always get copyright flags if we show you footage of that stuff. So we're just going to talk about it very quickly. Pokemon Concierge, which is the animated series on Netflix. It's like the crazy like stop animation thing that looks really freaking cool. More episodes of that are coming beginning on September 4th. And then there's another Pokemon series coming from the creators of Wallace and Gromit. And that looks very much like Wallace and Gromit, almost like claymation, like stop animation or whatever.
It is claymation, yeah.
Yeah. And that is coming in 2027. So there's a long wait for that.
These things take time.
I was kind of surprised that they announced or showed it already, but I think people are excited to see what it looks like. And it looks really cool.
Those guys are the best in the business at stop-motion claymation.
Yep, it looks really cool. And then Poke Park Kanto is an amusement park that's opening in Tokyo in early 2026. They talked about that. And that will be opening in time for the 30th anniversary of the series, which, okay, it's been 30 years of Pokemon.
Yeah. Well, to be fair, we got it 2 years later.
Yeah, that's true, actually. And then the cool thing about that is it's a standalone amusement park. It's not a part of like Universal or some other park. It's its own thing in Tokyo, which is really rare for what Nintendo's been doing in that space so far. And then they announced that there are some new cards coming for Pokemon trading card games. Some no surprise, Mega Evolution cards are coming. So anyway,
cards you will never see.
Pretty much, or you'll watch people fight over them on YouTube. And that's pretty much it for the Pokemon Presents for July 2025. Anything really stand out for you in that, Matt?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. I wonder if our chat had some stuff that they were really interested in. Vincent says it's part of a smaller park in Japan. I'm not sure what that means.
As part of the Kanto thing is part of probably means a larger park in Japan. Like, it's a section of another theme park.
Oh, that's funny, because the one thing I read about it today is that was the defining characteristic of the park, is that it was not a part of another amusement park. It's pretty crazy how much inaccurate reporting happens in our industry, Matt. It really is.
Inaccuracy is going to become more and more of a thing. We'll talk about Gabe in a minute.
How do you screw that up? How do you screw up what they said was the most important thing that they reported about the park?
Probably you run it through Google Translate or some AI
thing,
and it gets it wrong.
It's crazy.
And no one's fact checking.
That's pathetic.
Wait for it.
Eth Demon says he's interested in Z to A, however the hell you say it.
Zatua.
Swan Senpai says we got our pre-order in. Emperor Dread says Pokemon Concierge is actually pretty chill. I liked it. Yeah, they've already done, I think, 1 season so far, something like that. It seems like most Pokemon fans really liked it, which is cool. Nightwing 3060 says the last Pokemon game I played was Red on my Game Boy. Wow. Wow, that's crazy. What else are they talking about here? These Pokemon news wasn't interesting apart from the stop motion stuff. Dazzle 369. And then Vincent talking about the game was made by an educational company. He says there's no microtransactions, just massively overpriced DLC, which is worse, actually.
That's in line.
That is in line. Let's see. Are people quiet over here on YouTube? Ryoga Hibiki says, I'm surprised that the Pokemon Company hasn't done an MMO version of Pokemon. Particularly after, I mean, maybe one's in the works after seeing some of the competitors that are out there now. I mean, after you see Power World, how can you not go back and adjust?
Nintendo's never really seemed to be very interested in that.
Yeah.
Like, free interaction together is not how they work with player bases, really, because then you're exposing children to weird shit.
Mike's Q Novak says, go make good decisions so D&D was allowed on Lancaster Bible College campus. So I guess religious folks over time have softened their stance on D&D.
One of the strengths of evangelical Christianity is that it does move on to the next hot button when it realizes the old one isn't working anymore.
Yeah.
You know, you don't see anybody complaining about music played backwards anymore.
No.
You don't see anyone complaining about D&D anymore. You don't see any, they've moved on to new things.
What have they moved on to? What's the thing now?
Gender-affirming care.
Oh, you're right. Yeah. Litter boxes in school bathrooms.
Litter boxes in school bathrooms.
Stuff that doesn't exist.
The basements,
just like the devil talking on a record backwards.
Yeah,
didn't
basements
exist.
of pizza places that don't exist.
Right. Oh, yeah. I forgot about it.
It's not as cute as it used to be.
Yeah, it's actually a lot more insidious
Yes.
and evil, honestly.
Judas Priest saying "Hail, sweet Satan" was a lot more fun than what we're doing right now.
Okay. Well, that'll do it for our rundown of Pokemon Presents for July 2025. Not surprised you guys didn't have a ton of commentary around that. That's why it was later on in the show in our rundown.
I mean, when was the last time a Pokemon presentation the reaction wasn't just
meh?
Oh.
Yeah, pretty much the last 20 of them for sure. Usually the only ones that hit big are the ones that show off the new mainline game. Yeah. And I am really
gotta catch a couple
some of
those,
them.
I
Yeah.
guess.
I am excited to learn about the next Pokemon though, because I do feel like, I mean, how could you not look at these other games and be like, you know what, we got to do something here.
They're not.
Then you look at the 40 million sales and you're like, we don't got to do anything.
No, the mainline Pokemon games will always be big, sprawling, turn-based JRPGs.
Yeah.
Now with the raid stuff and there'll be asymmetrical online stuff. Honestly, if you want to know what I think that the template for Pokemon games going forward will be in terms of that, I think it's going to be like Death Stranding 2.
Not Power World.
No, I mean that Power World might be an influence to the Legends series,
right?
But for the mainline game, I think you're looking at more of a Death Stranding 2 asymmetric construction and interaction system. I think that's more the way they would go with it.
That might be cool.
Because Nintendo's going to be more comfortable with that kind of an interaction system for a game that's targeted at young players. Because you never actually interact with another human being in Death Stranding 2, but it feels like
you are. Yeah.
And I think that would, if I were making Pokemon and I was still locked into that JRPG, no direct online multiplayer other than battles thing, I think I would look at Death Stranding 2's construction and strand system and really look into a way to adapt that to a Pokemon world.
That would be interesting. I'd be into that. All right, now it's time for...
If you give me the ability to build freeways in the Pokemon world, you will have me. I promise that. You're gonna
forever.
That's how you catch me. I haven't caught any Pokemon, but I have built 14 highways.
That other Pokemon can run on.
And I get a little ding every time somebody drives over it. It's great.
All right. It's time for the lightning round, where we round up the biggest news stories of the week as quickly as possible. We do our best here. Sometimes we run on a little bit longer than we'd like to, but that's GameFace. That's how we roll. First up in this week's lightning round. I can't even believe this, Matt. So this week, Microsoft announced and Xbox announced that it would no longer sell movies or TV shows on its services.
And so we come full circle. The thing you ruined your brand for is now the thing you have removed.
You've got to be effing kidding me, man. How do you go from one platform where the entire platform was built around TV, so much so that you created this admittedly cool interface where I could watch TV and play games at the same time, to just cutting it? I mean, is it not lucrative? What skin off Microsoft and Xbox's ass is it to have movies and TV shows available?
Those teams probably don't exist anymore.
You think so? You think that's what it is?
It might be.
Because
otherwise it's just free revenue.
It's just easy
right?
money. Yes.
Like you just need like a licensor and someone to kind of interface with that stuff, and there you go.
You're not losing any money if people don't. It's not like you're paying for the movie, and if people don't rent it, you lose money. That's not how it works.
My only guess is that they probably cut that team down to almost nothing, and that going forward, if they're going to be basically a brand on other people's hardware, figuring out the licensing issues of like what gets sold in this store can play on this device, but this device of that device or this device, it doesn't need the Xbox app, but you can watch it separately on this, but you can watch it on that without that. I imagine they just don't want to deal with that headache.
Look, here it is. Here's the parts of this trailer. Live TV.
Yeah.
Look at this is the Xbox One debut trailer.
Well, they're not talking about. Well, they're not talking about this. They're talking about their store.
Right. Yeah.
Like not. I think can you even watch live TV on
Xbox
Series X? Because that was the Xbox One thing.
No, you can't.
That was when the
you plug your cable box into the Xbox One. Yeah.
And then your Kinect changes the channel right as the Denver Broncos are about to win. Ask me how I know.
It's just crazy that they went so into pop culture and then just have. Now they don't even want to make money off of it at all.
Well, because they wrested control of the brand back from the non-gaming departments, seems to be what happened there.
It's insane.
My favorite thing about that was that when you did hook your Xbox One up like that with the Kinect, the accidental side effect was no one could talk about the Xbox.
Right.
Because if you said Xbox, it suddenly listened to you to do a command. So if we were talking about it, we had to be like, shh, don't say its name.
Yeah, you couldn't even show it off to people. Look at my new Xbox. And then it would be like,
boing. Yeah, it's like it was like it was like a horror movie. It was just like, don't say it. Don't say the word.
Xbox One is the horror movie, Matt.
Oh, yeah.
It literally was the beginning of the end for Xbox.
It is one of the biggest unforced errors in the history of video games.
It really is.
Like it's up there with shadow dropping the Saturn during E3 or CES, whenever that was. $100 more than the PlayStation.
Yeah, I mean, I saw some people online that are like bummed. They're like, bro, I built my entire video library on my Xbox because of Xbox One, and I assumed it's going to be there all this time. And Microsoft has said that, like, you're not going to lose that
everything
stuff.
you bought is still there, but, like, you're not going to
10 years from now, will it be there?
Probably.
You think?
It doesn't really cost anything. I mean, that hasn't happened yet.
Yeah.
No one's wiped the library yet like that.
Yeah.
So, and the minute you do, you're going to have a lot of legal trouble in Europe.
That's true, actually. Yeah, they care more about that stuff than we do in America. Yeah. We're just like, F you in America.
The EU has vastly better consumer protection laws than we do.
It really does. Yep. There's no doubt about it.
We would be in a much worse position as consumers in the United States if it wasn't for Europe.
Yeah. So anyway, if you didn't know, if you have built your video library on Xbox, you're not going to be able to continue to build it. You're not going to lose it.
Good news, it's complete.
Yeah, you're all done.
You're all done.
You caught them all. That's funny. Congrim One says the naming for the Xbox systems has been a travesty for a decade. Yep. Agreed. Just call it Xbox 3, 4, 5, 6. Like, it's just too easy. Just keep shooting yourself in the foot, Xbox. It's what you're best at.
Yeah, next up, what? The new Xbox?
Right. Next Xbox Next, or who knows? Xbox Series Y or Series Z?
Y, indeed.
Exactly. It should be Y. Because it's like, why would you ever buy it?
Just call it Xbox again.
All right. Next up in the lightning round. Boy, all kinds of feet going in mouths this week, Matt, across the games industry. Yesterday, Ubisoft CEO claimed that the reason Star Wars Outlaws didn't do very well initially is because the Star Wars brand right now is in choppy water. Do you agree?
I partially agree.
Yeah.
It certainly wasn't helped by the fact that a certain chunk of the very online fandom lost their mind that the game starred a woman, who they think is ugly, which is very weird because if
I know who you've been dating.
If you knew Kay in real life, she'd be one of the top 5 hottest people you've ever met.
Pretty much.
So I don't know what the hell you're talking about.
Well, it's the power fantasy, Matt.
Right. But my main thing is like it undersold because they were expecting Jedi numbers from a smuggler game.
That's what it is. Ubisoft. Look, I agree. Star Wars isn't on the best footing right now, But Ubisoft also has
Yeah.
plenty of blame in this.
Right, well, because the year before, Jedi Survivor sold like crazy.
Yep.
So clearly people are not averse to buying Star Wars games. They just weren't all that interested in this one. And I can't 100% blame them, because as much as I love seeing the world in this, and I mean, look, I think this game is way better than it was when it launched. They fixed this thing up. Now it's got all its DLC. I think it's a very complete package and a very solid Star Wars game. But the fact remains, Kay Vess doesn't have a fucking lightsaber.
Yeah.
And
You
that
don't fight
is
with
the
a
problem.
lightsaber. Yeah, it really is. And you think is that Ubi's fault, or was that the Star Wars team?
That's hard to say. It's probably the Star Wars team's choice. From what I understand, and certainly my limited experience working with Lucasfilm in the post-Disney era, they have complete control over all that, and they decide what happens for the most part. Odds are they did not want 2 Jedi games out there. They've already got the Jedi games from Respawn, and Respawn had to fight to
That's
use
right.
Jedi.
I forgot about
Remember,
that.
they said Lucasfilm told them that they didn't think they'd earned
Right.
Jedi.
I remember that. That's right.
And basically Respawn had to be like, are you out of your fucking mind? Do you want to succeed or not? And so they let them do it.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that kind of attitude is in play here
had something to do with this.
And also, as Ubisoft, I'm sure they felt their strength was a shooting game rather than a melee game in large part. I mean, not that they do bad melee combat in Assassin's Creed, but again, if you're going to do a Jedi game, your combat's going to be inevitably compared to Jedi Survivor.
Yeah.
And I would imagine that Ubisoft wasn't interested or up to that task. And so you do a shooting game, and that's going to probably put you in the smuggling world. And while, again, that is it's the third pillar of Star Wars. You've got the Force Jedi stuff, you've got the space starfighter military stuff, and you've got the smuggler underworld stuff. I don't think Star Wars really works without all 3 in play.
Yeah. I mean, that's the formula, for sure.
And the Jedi stuff is kind of the star. The Force is the star. They don't have to be Jedi, but like the Force is what makes that universe special. And I think that when you don't have that, you have a lot of casual fans that are just like, oh, whatever. I love the fact you can get in a spaceship, fly around, and fight TIE fighters, and jump to light speed, and do all that stuff's really cool to me. I love that you can walk around a market and see all this weird food and all these people doing their thing day to day, and all the different ways things are built. Like, that's fascinating to me. But I'm a giant fucking Star Wars nerd, and like.
This game still looks awesome.
And even I was a little bored at the version of the game that launched with the Force stealth and stuff. That's all gone now.
Yeah.
It's way better. I think it's a much better game than it was before. But I understand why people who are just sort of into Star Wars because of the laser swords and the music and the smashing are like, this isn't very interesting to me. And so I would say, given what we know about the sales, I think it's sold about right for this game, for what this game is. I think you just have to adjust. You can't have an expectation for what a Star Wars game will sell. You have to have an expectation for what kind of game the Star Wars game. Like you are going.
It's not just a license to print money.
No, it's not. Like people like what different things about.
It used to be.
Used to be.
Yeah.
But again, they never made anything like this.
Right.
They never did this a smuggler's own, like an underworld only game for the most part. Like the closest you probably got was like that weird fucking Twisted Metal ripoff, Demolition.
Oh, right.
Which bombed.
It did,
right?
yeah.
A lot of old Star Wars games bombed.
Yeah, they did.
Because they didn't quite know what people would want or like.
Yeah.
Dark Forces did really well, but that was because it was right on the back of Doom.
Yeah.
And it was one of the most probably the most technically advanced first-person shooter of the time.
Yeah,
building on the back of Doom.
Yeah.
And remember, you notice for the sequel, they immediately went to Jedi stuff.
Yeah.
Like, you have to do the Jedi stuff.
Yeah.
So I would say, like, this did pretty well for what it is. But, like, again, if you want to make top-level bank with your Star Wars game, there better be lightsabers in it.
Yeah.
And, like, there's people that hate that, and I get it. Like, I know not everything should have to be Luke Skywalker. Not everything should have to be Jedi everywhere.
But it does.
I get that the world. Yeah, as someone who would say my favorite Star Wars games of all time are X-Wing and TIE Fighter, I get it. There's no lightsabers in those either. But you know what they're not making right now? X-Wing and TIE
Fighter games, yeah.
Although, the fan remake of X-Wing just came out.
Oh, really?
1.0 a few weeks ago. They just did another update, I think, last week. It's phenomenal.
Wow.
Go look up the X-Wing, I can't remember what it's like, XWVM or something like that. Go look up fan remake of X-Wing. It's the whole game, the expansions. It plays like a game that came out last year.
Oh, wow.
It's incredible. It's phenomenally well done. But it was made, and TIE Fighter also. There's a version of that that came out earlier that's a mod for, I think, X-Wing Alliance. Again, those games were made by fans because Lucasfilm is never going to make them.
Yeah.
Because no one gives a shit.
Yeah. Hey, just so you know, Mike's Q did come back on chat and say he does not think that there should be incest games. Just want to go on the record there to make sure we set the record straight. His initial message was like a mistype or whatever. He's not down with incest games. Just want to let you guys know that. Okay, next up on the lightning round. Matt, this week Gabe Newell came out of hiding. And it's so bizarre. First of all, he's lost.
Did he see his shadow?
I don't think so.
6 more weeks of waiting for Half-Life 3?
He's lost a ton of weight.
Yeah, he did.
He looks like a hermit. Seriously, he looks like he's just hiding away.
He's a little beardy.
He is, though, a hermit. He is like hiding on a boathouse, basically, and he owns like 6 of them or something insane, because he's like one of the richest men in the world.
Who rules Bartertown?
It's really crazy.
Great Gabe Newell rules Bartertown.
Yeah, but we don't hear anything from Gabe for years and years. We don't know what he's doing, and just some random YouTube channel reached out to him and said, hey, would you do an interview? And he's like, yes. And so he did an interview with some YouTube channel that has 118 subscribers.
As Katamari Damacy said, rich people sure are different.
I kind of like it that he did an interview with GameSpot or IGN. He's like, no, I'm going to interview with you.
It's a good lesson. Like, shoot your shot.
You never know.
You never know.
Just try. And the guy totally bombed it.
Like the fucking this YouTube channel with like 108. You know they were asking him to interview because they really cared about interviewing. So like I kind of understand why he did that.
But the creator totally screwed it up. He chopped it up into these horribly edited shorts instead of just Anyway, Gabe did an interview with somebody, and it's very weird. You can go watch it. It's on Sifted. We curate everything, of course. But he basically said that, like, AI is going to take over. First of all, he says he's retired, but he still works 7 days a week on just fun stuff. So he only does, like, he's working on, like, ocean conservation and stuff like that. Like, so he does that as his work now, but he doesn't really work on Steam or Valve anymore.
He sits on the edge of his boat and yells at people not to litter. That's what
Get that cannon out of the water!
You pick that up!
Yeah, it's serious. That's probably what it is.
Because that's his lawn.
But after they got
over... That's a 7-day-a-week job.
It is, yeah. After they got over catching up with him and he started talking, he said that AI is this huge shift and that it's going to take over programming. And in the not-too-distant future, if you don't use AI for programming, you're not going to be able to be hired. That the real human programmers are going to be left in the dust in short order, and the only people who are going to be employed are the people who know how to use AI to program, because he just says it just speeds everything up and it's right every time. How do you feel about that? Coming from him, that's a big statement.
Well, the thing about that, and this is true of us to some degree too, is we're not going to live long enough to have to see the consequences of this.
Yeah.
Because you remember when humans were programming things?
Yeah.
And they
still are.
And they forgot that the year 2000 was coming.
Right.
Now imagine that happened because a bunch of fucking AIs did something like that. Yeah. And we can't find out why. We might not even know it's there.
You're right.
Because no one knows that code because they used AI to do it. Yeah. And the AI doesn't know it's a problem.
Right.
And the AI probably wouldn't admit it's a problem because they fucking lie to you all the time.
Right.
Good luck.
Yeah.
The other thing that I'll say, and he mentioned this too as well, it's already infested legal.
AI has
like law firm, like they already use AI, ChatGPT and equivalents to. There's a specific legal AI that they use to write like briefs and things. Good luck, everybody.
That's scary.
Good luck.
You're talking about people's lives.
We are just going to have to get used to the idea that 1/2 to 1/3 of the information from all of our trusted and expected systems in society are going to be false.
Yeah, or even if they're incorrect,
because there's no way,
out of 10 times.
There's no way to trust it. There's no way to check.
Yeah,
and like you're going to hit a point where people use these things to think for them so much.
That's already happening.
Of course, but I'm talking about like you hit a point where no one's going to know it's wrong. Mm-hmm. You have to be expertise. You have to have expertise to know that what it's saying about, because you see like Google AI comes up with search. You do a search and you're inevitably forced to look at the stupid AI thing, and like it's half the time it's wrong. It's just nonsense.
Yeah.
Especially if it's something specialized. If it's something that I was looking up 80s era handheld electronic stuff, like just the stupid little LCD thing, and it made up a whole
Butchered
alternate
it.
history of what that was, and I think it made up a different thing that LCD stood for, which it only stands for. I'm like, what are you talking? It's like just
Wow.
hallucinating a whole other.
Oh
which,
my
to be
God.
fair, sounds pretty interesting, but it's not
But it's
real.
wrong.
But if I didn't know anything about Tomitronic games, I wouldn't necessarily know that was all wrong. So,
Right.
at what point do we hit that point with the legal briefings?
You-
Like, how do you know what's real anymore?
I mean, you mentioned that people are going to want to say that it's okay to use AI. Incompetent people are already saying that,
Oh,
Matt.
sure.
I mean, they're like,
I
bro,
didn't- I
it just
didn't-
leveled the playing
I didn't
field for
say
me.
that. I didn't say that. I said people are going to use it to think for them.
Yeah, you said that too.
But I'm saying when everyone is.
Yeah.
Like what?
Well, I'll never be a part of it, so it'll never
No.
be everyone until
But
I'm
you've
dead
already-
anyway.
But you've already got people posting like gag memes of students before 2010 having to write their own papers.
Oh, yeah, making fun of us,
and it's
yeah.
people like bleeding and like cutting through wire and shit. I'm just like, man, I used to write that shit in 3 hours before it was due at 6 a.m. the day of.
I
Like,
procrastinate,
no
and
problem.
put it off. Yeah. Well, a lot of people can't do that anymore, Matt, because 21% of Americans are illiterate.
Well, right.
I saw that stat this week. 21% of Americans are illiterate or read at a 6th grade or lower level.
No wonder
That
JRPGs aren't as popular as they could
That
be.
explains so much about so many things.
Well, reading is reading is no longer fundamental.
Matt. Nope.
Turns out.
Next up on the lightning round. Well, in next week's show, we're going to be talking about Battlefield 6 because it is being shown off for the first time on Thursday.
Well, I look forward to the Battlefield sucks
Yeah.
headlines. So here we go.
It is debuting on Thursday. It'll obviously be on SIFTD. We'll curate that for you guys, so you don't have to go looking for it. It'll be up there for y'all to see. EA has also shared that Battlefield 6 is in fact called Battlefield 6. That is its final title, and that's what it'll be called. I have no idea why developers try to be so coy and publishers try to be so coy when they're just going to use a numeric naming nomenclature. It's like, why didn't you just call this Battlefield 6 from the beginning instead of calling it the next Battlefield for a year and a half? I don't understand why they did that. But anyway,
Because they had to have a whole lot of meetings.
I guess July 24th on Thursday, they'll show it off. This is like leaked beta footage that's out there that you're watching right now. That's why it looks so awful, because it was like only in 720p or something like that. So we have seen nothing of this game officially. They haven't even put out the first trailer.
I would never know this is a new game if you didn't tell me.
No, because it looks like every other Battlefield game. Yeah, it really does. So we'll get the first trailer on Thursday, and then there is an open beta coming, quote-unquote, soon for the next Battlefield, and obviously we'll also share that with you guys on
Well,
SIFTD.
that didn't work, did it? You got to put the flares out sooner.
Yeah, you think. So anyway, finally we're going to get the first look at the next Battlefield, and don't forget that, like, there are people working on this who come from the Call of Duty crew.
Mm-hmm.
So there's big expectations for this to finally be the game that turns the page. What'd you say?
Good.
Yeah. Well, Vince Zampella's working on
Right.
it, so he's kind of what established the modern Call of Duty with his squads. So
I mean, a good campaign would be a big change.
and there is a campaign they've already confirmed. So I don't know what we'll get a look at.
Try it
but-
again.
Yeah, again, because they've not been good. Battlefield campaigns have been abysmal.
Never been good. I mean, other than Bad Company.
Yeah, that's it. And this destruction.
Where's my
was-
fucking Bad Company remaster?
I don't know. I think there have been rumblings that this campaign has been modeled after Bad Company. So we'll see. I feel like we've heard that before.
I would buy a Bad Company 1 and 2 remastered collection
Yeah.
way quicker than I would buy
A
this.
new one. Yeah, I agree. I think a lot of people feel that way. So anyway, finally, we'll get our first look at the next Battlefield. The only thing we know about its release date right now is it's going to launch before the end of March 2026. So we could be surprised and it comes out in Q4. More likely, I think it's probably going to come out in March. That's what I would say. But anyway, on Thursday, we'll see the next Battlefield. Next up, in the lightning round, we reviewed Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 last week on GameFace. And I just got to say that it was one of the least commented episodes of GameFace ever on SIFTD.net. Our last week's episode literally, I think, had the least amount of comments on an episode of GameFace ever.
I don't think you'll have that problem on this one.
No, probably not. Because there's games that people are interested in. And to show you how uninterested people were over this game, it only sold 12,000 copies on Steam in its first 4 or 5 days.
Yeah, I mean, it's never really been a PC series, so... But it's like, I mean...
Are skateboarding games dead? because they were dead, and I feel like they're kind of forcing things here with these remasters. The first collection sold pretty well, but the interest in this one before it launched was way lower than 1 and 2.
I mean, I don't think you need to worry about an American Underground remaster anytime soon.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it's niche of a niche at this point. It's whoever remembers these things.
I mean, think about how many gamers don't like sports and won't play a sports game. And then think about how many gamers will not play a niche sports game.
Well, I can't really believe that this is a really like generational thing. Like I can't imagine Tony Hawk is something that people are passing down to their kids.
Skateboarding is bigger now than it has ever been.
Right, but it's like
crazy how big it is.
But
now.
It's also like that's a good reason to not have to play a video game about it.
Yeah,
you just go do it.
Yeah, I was surprised to see the low sales numbers. Honestly,
again, I wouldn't judge that by PC stuff.
Yeah.
So Tony Hawk is so much more of a console game and always has been that, especially for a nostalgia bait thing like this release, I would not consider Steam sales the end all be all.
A lot of people are saying that it's that the reason the sales aren't where they are is because people just don't care about skateboarding. Like, it was a novelty for the first two because it's Tony Hawk 1 and 2. People had fond memories of that, but most people don't really fondly remember 3 and 4.
I certainly don't.
Yeah, and it just feels like, the other thing too is that
it's too bad because they actually did a really good job.
They did.
On this.
I mean, this game is good. That's the thing. A lot of people are saying too that it's because of Game Pass, that it's on Game Pass and that killed sales of the game.
Maybe. I mean, again, we don't really know how pervasive that is.
I don't think we'll ever know that.
It would somewhat explain also the Steam sales, because if you have a PC, you can just use the Xbox app to get
pay
the Game Pass
$11 and get Game Pass for the month. Yeah, maybe $12,000. They should be happy with that because you can pay $11 and play it. And on PC, it doesn't feel like it's as big of a barrier as it is on like consoles. For whatever reason, people with Game Pass on consoles are like, I don't know, it's kind of a big deal. On PC, it's cheaper, it's easier. You probably already have a bunch of apps already on your PC for Xbox and all these other things. It feels like it's not as big a deal for people to jump over to Game Pass on PC. But as of right now, it does not look like Tony Hawk's Pro Skater 3 and 4 is selling very well at all. Next up on the lightning round, we've been talking about the lack of software for Switch 2, both first party and third party. Though I'd argue third party probably a little bit above average for a Nintendo console launch as far as the quality and the quantity of third-party games. But for people who have had a PS5 or an Xbox, they're all also ran games that were already available for those platforms. But people are still kind of concerned there aren't enough games for Switch 2 so far. And basically what happened is a third-party developer came out this week and said, the reason there are no third-party games for Switch 2 is because Nintendo won't send out development kits to anybody.
Weird.
They said that nobody below AAA status has received a development kit for Switch 2. Why?
I don't know.
What is going on? Why does it feel like Nintendo spent the last 2 years getting ready for the launch of Switch 2 by cutting off software to Switch 1, not releasing any really compelling first-party exclusives for all that time? And then the thing launches, we get 1 or 2 games in the first 2 months, and then the third-party stuff, there's really nothing to speak about. We had Dust Bloods or whatever from Software as exclusive. That's coming. Who knows when? But otherwise, it feels like third parties are like, what can we easily port? It feels like it's just the same thing all over again. I guess is what I'm getting at. Yeah. It's the same Nintendo console launch we've dealt with since the N64.
It is the Switch 2.
Yeah, I guess that's a point. I just don't understand. Nintendo should know better than anybody that you can't make a game unless you have a dev kit.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what that is.
It just feels weird. Nintendo has managed Switch, and mostly Switch 2, pretty masterfully. This just feels like a huge ball drop here. I don't get it.
Well, except they're sold out as fast as they can ship them, so it doesn't matter.
And also, I guess in Japan, the Switch 2 is just the best-selling thing ever. Literally, ever.
Definitely didn't hurt him.
No. So, I guess people are just happy playing their old games on their Switch 2, their old Switch 1 games, and maybe there's Nintendo fans out there. I mean, to be fair, in Japan, most people aren't buying other consoles, so they're not playing these games on PS5 or Xbox Series X. It may be the first time they ever play them when they're available on Switch 2, so maybe there's different value there in Japan versus other territories, but Yeah, I mean, if you're wondering why there's kind of this software drought for Switch 2 and you just bought one and maybe you didn't care about Mario Kart, maybe you don't care about Donkey Kong, it's because Nintendo just isn't supplying the developers with the hardware that they need to make games for Nintendo. So this is a trickle-down thing, Matt. You know, it takes 2 or 3 years to make a game. So if you're just now getting these folks dev kits...
It takes less time to port a game. So
right.
There's a lot of that old... I can't remember what network it was where they tried to advertise the summer reruns as it's new to you.
Oh, right.
If you haven't seen it. So there's a lot of that. They're leaning on that a lot here.
It really does feel that way. So, point being, there's not going to be a healthy amount of Switch 2 software for quite a while. Mm-hmm. You're going to get like the big third parties porting stuff, and you're going to get Nintendo's dribble of games that we're getting right now. And that's going to be it probably for the next couple years until all these smaller third-party guys start getting dev kits and can start making games for Switch 2.
Hope you like Kirby.
Yeah, seriously.
It's time for an air ride.
Yep. And then our final topic for this week's lightning round. Sega has decided that it's going to deliver the full game on the cartridge for the Switch 2 version of Sonic Racing Transformed. It's going to be a 64 gigabyte cart. But here's the thing, Matt. They're going to charge an extra $10 for the game.
Yeah, well, those carts aren't cheap.
So here's the question. Would Nintendo fans rather just get the blank card for $10 less?
No.
No?
I bet they wouldn't.
Here's why? Because it's like...
they're fucking weird.
It's just knowing that the data's on the card that matters.
Because I don't understand the obsession with that to begin with. I know the whole time, it's on the card, so I can always play it, even if everything. Like that's not gonna happen. If the network goes away, it's because civilization ended, and you don't need to worry about whether you can play your fucking Nintendo games anymore because the Switch ran out of batteries and there's no electricity anymore. Well,
I think people are worried about what happened with Ubisoft with its game. It's like. It's mostly an online game, and Ubisoft's like, well, we don't really want to keep the servers up for this old racing game anymore, so we're going to retire it. And now,
but this game has offline play.
Yeah,
it's fine.
Yeah,
you won't be able to play online stuff, but that's true of every single thing that was ever online.
Yeah,
ever.
That's true.
Like that's what you're buying into when you buy an online only game. But this is not an online only game. There's offline play.
Yeah, there's a single player mode in this. Yeah,
and there's couch multiplayer. It's fine. But people want it's the game preservation thing where they want everything on the. It's like okay, you want the thing with no day one patch and all that. It's just silly.
Do you think they'll pay the extra $10?
I think that physical version will sell out.
It's crazy.
Limited run games.
I think you're right.
Limited run games, all those other places, their whole business model is based on that.
Yeah.
The people will pay absurd premiums over the digital cost to have a physical copy of it, and it works.
One thing I will say, Matt, is as the number of physical units drop, these games could be worth more money for a collector.
But probably not because
someone has to want them.
Fewer and fewer people are interested in having a physical collection of games.
That's what I'm starting to worry about myself, Matt, with my game collection. Is should I sell it now? Because it's in 10 years, is there going to be anyone willing to pay me $2,000 for that crazy Legend of Zelda card, DS cart that I got at the unveiling of Tears of the Kingdom?
Probably not.
Or I'm sorry, it wasn't Tears of the Kingdom. But at that big blowout where they show mature Zelda for the first time, they gave out this little DS cart that I have. It's worth $2,000. But if there's no one to buy it, it's not worth $2,000. Mm-hmm. So I'm just wondering, should I start selling all this stuff?
Why not?
Because I'm if I hold on to it, it'll be worth more money.
The more people our age who die, the fewer people are going to care about what the value of that's going to go down. Mm-hmm. Once you go 10 years younger than us, no one gives a shit.
No, you're right. You're right. Yeah.
And I don't just necessarily mean physical media. I mean Zelda.
Or Zelda, right. Yeah.
You got to think about that. You got to think about what's made the leap.
Well,
and even if it has made the leap, to a lot of the younger audience, Zelda is Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom.
Yeah.
They don't
That's
give a
what
shit.
It is now.
They don't give a shit about that gold DS card.
Yeah.
That's
not
Zelda.
Not what it is, though. This was handed out at their press conference.
They don't care.
Yeah.
That's before they were born.
Yeah. But there are collectors still, younger
there will be.
Folks, but you're right, the market dries up.
But you know how many collectors are there versus how many of those things are there?
The other thing too
if all the collectors willing to and able to pay that kind of price for that collector's item have that item, it's not worth $2,000 anymore
Yeah.
because you can't sell it.
No, you're right. You have to find someone to buy it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it's worth nothing.
Nothing.
Yeah. So I wonder, it's like all like my unopened copy of God Hand. Like, should I sell that? Because the other part of it too is like,
I think the bottom's going to drop out of the overinflated secondary market relatively soon over the next few years. I mean, because it's gotten ridiculous. I mean, you can go to places like those not flea markets, but like Frankenstein's. Like, you have people with like these like bins full of Game Boy Advance instruction manuals, and they're selling them for $20 or $30 and per instruction manual.
I know.
No game, no box, no nothing. Just like, here's to complete, because you got a box, you got a game. It wasn't having the instruction manual. You want to complete your game, $20. Like, that stuff is going to go the way of the dodo.
the big determinant for me I'm going to figure out is the value of that stuff increasing by 10% a year? If it's not, I should sell it now and just put the money into a mutual fund, because unless you're an idiot, you can make 10% off the market pretty much every freaking year, no matter what. Like, you can make 10%. So am I actually hurting myself financially by not selling that stuff and just putting that money into a mutual fund? Like, probably. So anyway, just something to think about if you're like me and you've been sitting on some collector stuff. It might be time to start offloading that stuff. Because, again, to your point, Matt, as people start dying, you got to remember also, those older people are the ones who have all the money and the disposable income who would pay $2,000 for a Zelda card.
Right.
Like,
and remember that sometimes you get those people die, and suddenly that collection is on
flooded
the market.
onto the market. Yep. And the value of everything
And
goes
that
down.
can alter things.
Yep.
Yeah.
It definitely can. All right. That's it for the lightning round, which means there's just one thing left to do. That's right. It's time for Name That Game Tune, brought to you by Soundwizardry.com. The wizards in audio and every kind of audio. They work on games. They work on TV shows. They work on films. They work on crappy podcasts. They can work on pretty much anything. If you're working on a game with a bunch of friends right now and your audio guy isn't working out, if you're working on a gigantic game right now and the audio team that you decided to hire is dropping the ball and they become the weakest part of your game, call Soundwizardry.com. Go to Soundwizardry.com. Ask for Glenn. Glenn is awesome people. They are versatile. They've worked on Game of the Year winners, Game of the Year contenders. They've worked on it all. Go to Soundwizardry.com, the absolute wizards in audio. And because of them, and because they're awesome, because Glenn is good people, we do this fun thing here on GameFace called Name That Game Tune, where I play 5 samples, audio samples, from a video game, and you try to guess the name of the game before Matt Keil right here. A couple things before we get going. You can only win once per calendar year, so if you've already won this year, please do not play. Number 2, if you don't play PC games, please do not play, because you win a PC game if you win this. It's cool if you want to give it to a friend. We're totally down with that. That is absolutely fine. And then the final thing is the chat goes into slow mode, which means you can only input one thing every 60 seconds. So don't try to just spam the chat with a bunch of game titles. You're not going to win. I promise you that. Okay, let me get Matt's headphones turned up here so he can hear the audio samples. And let me bring up the interface. And again, I'm sorry that our folks on YouTube cannot play Name That Game Tune, but we need to unify it so everybody is working on basically the same delay. Oh, choo-choo.
Just jump over from YouTube.
Yeah. You can just come over from YouTube over to Twitch. It's not a big deal, right? And the funny part is someone on YouTube was just like, oh my God, SIFTD's on YouTube streaming now. Thank God. So come on over to Twitch now. Who is that? The amazing Vector. Go over to Twitch if you want to play Name That Game Tune. All right.
Yeah, come up with a different game that YouTube gets to play.
Actually, that's not a bad idea. Maybe I should work on that with another sponsor. Come up with some other fun game to play just for YouTube. That's not a bad idea, Matt. All right. Are you ready to go? Are you guys ready to play Name That Game Tune? Here is the first sample. In 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Oh.
MasterCard Incest Diaries 2, no. Hybrid Heaven, no. It's Someday Fire Native.
Missile Command.
No, not Missile Command. Space Invaders, no. Donkey Kong, no. That would be very sneaky of me, though. Moonbase, no.
Do you get Galaga?
Galaga, no. Dig Dug, no. Lode Runner, no. Good guess, Jam Rain. Pac-Man, no.
No. It's not Asteroids?
Not Asteroids. Any other guesses on that first sample?
I know it.
Berserker, no. Mario Kart 8, no. Any final guesses? Going once. And I should remind people who haven't played this already, the samples get more obvious and easier as they go. So the first one, I try to make sure you guys don't get it on that, but it doesn't always work. Okay, I think we're ready for the second one. Here it comes in 3, 2, 1. I'll play that one a second time. Battletoads versus Double Dragon. Nope. I know that's not it, but I wanted to say it anyway. That's not it. No, it's definitely not Body Harvest. Tron, no. Galaga, no. Matt already guessed Galaga. Elevator Action, no. Qbert, no. That's a good one, too. Space Quest, no. Qbert was a good guess, Jamrain, but it was not true. Or not accurate. E.T., no. Sinstar, no. I just like seeing all these old game titles, though.
Run, coward.
Legend of Zelda, no. Fire Native, I think it's a Battletoads game. Star Fox, no. I think I know it, but I can't play. Don't give it up, Vinarava. Let people win. Castlevania, no.
Man.
Any last guesses for that second sample? Going once. Going twice. Okay, here comes the third one. In 3, 2, 1. No one wants me to play that one again. Shredder's Revenge, no. Commander Keen, no. Attack of the Mutant Camels, no. I don't even know that game. Burger Time, no. The Last of Us 2. Tempest, no. Robotron 2020-84, no. Maniac Mansion, no. War Games, no. I like that guess, though. Would you like to play a game? Miss Pac-Man, no. That one Super Mario Hotel game, no. Yara's Revenge, no. Metal Gear for NES, no. Oh, Attack of the Mutant Camels is one of the games from Llamasoft. Interesting. That had that playable documentary that came out not long ago. Okay, we're moving on. I thought people would get it from that one. Here's the fourth sample. In 3, 2, 1.
Joust.
Yep. I had to wait for the obligatory amount of time to make sure someone else didn't get it, but yes, it is.
I knew all the other ones, but finally it was the ostrich feet.
Yeah. We'll listen to the last one. Here's the fifth one. Played it, but was not even born when it came out. It's one step I never heard of 80% of these games. It was Joust, the arcade game, where you literally joust with people on the back of an ostrich, which does have a tie-in to Donkey Kong Bananza. So
Because in both of those games, they can fly, and no, they cannot.
Yep. That's the funny part, actually. They can't fly at all. All right. That's going to do it for GameFace episode 443 right here on Sifted Games at sifted.net. If you like the show and you want to support us, head on over to patreon.com/sifted. That's SIFTD. You can drop us a pledge there for just $5 a month. You get all our content early, and that's at least 3 days early. Pactor Factory, you get it a week early. Definitely worth it. So please head on over there if you can. If you don't have any money, but you do have Amazon Prime, you can help us out with Twitch Prime. You hear us talking about it on the show, thanking people for hooking us up. Basically, you can give us a free $2.50 every month if you're an Amazon Prime subscriber. If you're watching on YouTube, go down below and learn how to do that. There's step-by-step instructions. Or if you've already connected your accounts, just go right now to twitch.tv/siftedgames and renew that. You have to do it every month, which is a pain in the butt, but it literally, once you've connected your accounts, it takes 3 seconds to re-up. So please do that if you can. And if you don't have Amazon Prime and you don't have money, just review the show, like the show, share the show, leave a comment on the show. All those metrics matter. It helps it bubble up in search pretty much everywhere, particularly if you're listening to this show on a podcast service somewhere, if you're on Spotify or Apple Podcasts or Stitcher or iHeartRadio. Please review the show there. That makes a big difference for us. Reviewing shows and leaving comments on shows on podcast services. Anytime someone searches gaming podcast, it will help our podcast pop up there and be more likely that they'll give us a shot. And I believe once they give us a shot, they'll become fans. So anyway, that's it for GameFace episode 443. Looking ahead to next week, we'll make it happen. We always do. There's not a bunch of big games coming out, but there's a couple, like more.
Shadow Labyrinth.
Yeah, Shadow Labyrinth and actually College Football 26 also, but I don't know if I want to play that or not. Yeah. I don't know if you guys want me to play that and talk about it on the show either.
I mean, it's a nice break for me.
Yeah, exactly. All right,
Every
folks.
once in a while, I'm just like, so what are the laces on a football made out of anyway?
All right, people. Thanks to everybody in chat on both Twitch and YouTube. As always, you guys made the show much better and way more fun. We appreciate you guys very much. Thanks to anybody who's supporting us in any way, whether you're pledging, whether you just clicked like on that YouTube video just 5 minutes ago. Any way that you help us, we appreciate it all. I hope you guys have an awesome week filled with awesome games. GameFace is up and out.